And welcome to Doctor's Orders, the show where we analyze Dr. Mario and try to be a little bit better in life and in pills. My guest today is a beloved member of the community for her unmatched enthusiasm. She's recently started her journey into Versus Play, attending multiple regionals this year, and she'll also be traveling to Cincinnati to play in DRMC 2025 this November. It's Fwubs. Fwubs, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. I'm so glad to be here, Lev. Thank you for having me on. This is another big step in my versus journey right here, is coming on the doctor's orders.
I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm really glad to have you on. It's not always easy to get people to come on to do this with me, so I appreciate you coming on here. We always like to begin by starting at the beginning. So if you could, please tell us, how did you begin playing Dr. Mario, and how did you find our wonderful community?
Yeah, so I got into Dr. Mario. I started playing in 2020, but before that, the way I ended up in Dr. Mario was actually through Tetris things. I used to be a pretty big Tetris player, specifically modern Tetris, and I would play all the time Puyo Puyo Tetris online with my friend. Unfortunately, he was a lot better than me, and I got a little tired of losing. And so at some point, I think it was early COVID, we were online. I'd remembered seeing a video of Dr. Mario on YouTube for some reason. I think it's because it was on the Classic Tetris channel, and so it got recommended to me. And so I told my friend, hey, you know what? Enough Tetris. Let's mix it up. Let's try out this Dr. Mario thing. And so we hopped on the Switch Online, played, and I kicked his butt. I was winning, and all of a sudden it's like something clicked. It was in that moment I was like, oh yeah, oh, I'm a Dr. Mario player.
Mm-hmm.
And so finding the community wasn't too difficult for me. I'd already been fairly familiar with Discord, so just through some Googling, I was able to find the link. And the first thing I ever did was I played in the 2020 online tourney. I did not kick butt in that, but I was there, and it was just so much fun. And so since then, I've just loved Dr. Mario. Definitely my favorite game.
Oh, wow. I actually did not know that you participated in like the online COVID Dr. Mario tournament, basically.
I
In
know.
2020.
It's like my secret lore. Everyone thinks like my first thing was that 2021 speed event, but
Yeah.
I've been around.
Wow, that's incredible. Actually, that's like the deep lore you're giving us here. I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
to be honest, when I ask people about how they join the community, it's because most people have like really interesting answers for that, but that's mostly because they're not of the youth, such as yourself, and they're not familiar with Discord and things like that. So, uh,
Hmm.
maybe not the story of I heard through a friend, like Rob Burrito's story is that his friend came in 2022 because he thought he would beat everyone, but he didn't tell Rob because he didn't want Rob to beat him. Those are the kind of stories that I'm looking for. But yeah, I mean, we just had Luke on last episode, and I was telling him like we don't really have as many younger people involved in the community, but you and him have both been here for quite some time. Maybe in your case, even longer than I thought. So that's interesting. I did want to ask also about your foray into Versus now. You've been involved in the speedrunning side of Dr. Mario for a long time. I guess you had played Versus a lot earlier than I had expected.
Yeah, way back.
But when you became more well known, you were very much in the speedrunning side. And your Versus interest is really only recently, as far as I was aware, started to come out. So what prompted you to start improving in Versus?
Yeah, so I've always had this like on and off interest in verses. Like that's how I started out playing, but then I wanted to speed run. And then I did come out to the 2023 championship, but that was mostly just to see people. I wasn't really like, yeah, verses. But lately, with like, there are a few factors. So I think the first thing would be the rise of Fightcade and a good way to play and practice. I
Mm,
think that was something that was kind of a turn off for me, was just playing on the Switch was so miserable.
mm,
And so it really disincentivized practice. So with Fightcade being the new way, I got a lot more interested. Another thing is I thought when I became a quote unquote real adult, I was going to have like no time to game. Turns out I have so much free time and I don't know what to do with it. I clock out at like 5 p.m. I get home, and then it's like, well, now what? No one's gonna tell me what to do. There's nothing to even procrastinate other than chores.
Right.
So
Not
I've
quite the
just
same
had
life as being an adult, or as being a student, rather, I guess.
yeah, yeah, it's super different. Then another thing was I went to that regional in Philly, and that again, I just wanted to go something. I hadn't seen people in forever. And I experienced what I would describe as Dr. Mario ego death. I went in thinking I have this attitude sometimes where I'm like, yeah, I've been playing for 5 years. I don't need to practice. I'll do just fine. That's wrong. That is very incorrect. I realized at that regional, like, oh my gosh, the level of play is not what it was before.
Mm.
Like, people have gotten really good, so I need to practice too.
Definitely, especially since the last time you went to Columbus in 2023. I think that was the beginning of a big rise in the average skill level. It was Fightcade was really starting to take off, and people got way more interested in playing a lot more verses and getting better and improving. So, yeah, it's really up the bar for everybody. But you have, I feel like you've kind of risen to the occasion, especially in your most recent regional where you did make it to the bracket and you made it past the first round even, and even at a regional tournament, that's definitely for somebody who hasn't been in the scene for versus at least that long. Is definitely a huge, something to be proud of for sure. Now,
Yeah, yeah.
you talked a little bit about how you kind of just went to Columbus in 2023 to see people, and I remember with that you being there. I remember that you kind of felt almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess just sort of distant from everyone else because you were studying for an exam at the time, and I know that because you were sitting. I
Yeah.
remember you sitting on the floor, like buried in flashcards and textbooks and stuff, while there's like a Dr. Mario tournament going on. And I was like, I really appreciate the dedication, but I felt kind of bad. I was like, there's no way that you could possibly be enjoying this. So, do you feel like, since you plan to attend Cincinnati this year, do you think you're going to enjoy it a lot more than you did last year or
I
2023
think
rather?
I think absolutely, like for a good few reasons. I'm really excited for Cincinnati. One, like you said, there's really no pressure. Like I get PTO. I just get to go off work and not think about anything. I get to be there for the game, be there to hang out with people. I really feel like I'll be able to focus more on the event and enjoying it. Another reason I'm extremely excited, I've been vaguely advertising this to people, but I'm running Dr. Mario Bar Trivia. I have been so hard at work on this trivia, and that might be the thing I'm most excited for. I mean, I'm excited to see people, I'm excited to compete, but oh my goodness, my trivia.
Well, I'm excited for that. I don't know if this may not necessarily be replacing the side events that Doc has done in previous years, but that was all it
No,
was
this will be
next
separate.
to that. But it'll certainly be in the same category at least. And he's
Yeah.
certainly set a very high bar for interesting and exciting side events at DRMCs. So you have a lot to live up to, but I think a lot of people are going to be into it for sure. Is there anything else in particular that you're excited about when it comes to Cincinnati coming up?
I think really I just want to play some good matches. I also want to win some good matches. I love playing good matches, but I feel really determined that I want to do well at this event. That's part of why I've been practicing a lot more is I feel like at Hartford I got a taste of what it felt like to get further in bracket and now I really just want to go in like I've always been like, okay, I just want to make top 48. That'll be fine. I don't just want to make top 48. I want to make that final bracket. I want to win some rounds. I want to put on a show and play some good Dr. Mario.
Well, I think you'll get a good chance with the new format that they have, where everyone's going to make the bracket, and then people who are higher seeded will get buys, which means that the people who are lower seeded will to play against other people who are closer to their skill level in those early rounds, which
Hmm.
means we'll all get better matches, both players and spectators, and I think that's awesome. So I think you'll probably enjoy that, and I know that. It sounds like you're certainly a very competitive person that just
Oh, yeah.
wants to win, wants to do better. I imagine that probably comes from your involvement in your local Smash Brothers community, which is something that you've been part of for a long time. And you've been involved not only as a player, but also as a quote unquote retired tournament organizer now. But
Yes.
yeah,
I'm free.
well, I think that that's something that's pretty unique, honestly. I think a lot of people in Dr. Mario community, this is sort of like their thing, and they have not a lot of experience outside of that. But you are really involved in another gaming community. You're probably more aware of other communities than most people in Dr. Mario. So I'm curious to know more about that. How did you get into Smash Bros to begin with, and especially how did you get into being a TO and organizing and running your own events?
Yeah, so the first my first experience with Smash Bros was when I was a kid. I used to play the version on the Wii with my brother a lot. Like we played it all the time. And when I was growing up, my brother, he was kind of my partner in crime. So we did everything together. And so going into high school, when a new Smash game was coming out, me and my brother were extremely excited. And this kind of permeated into our friend groups. We went to the same high school. He was 2 years older than me. And we had a Switch. And so he and I started bringing in our Switch to just play the new Smash game with friends. And eventually he sort of lost interest, but I found the game really interesting. I really liked the mechanics. I liked the characters. It just stuck out to me. So I kind of became the de facto person at my small high school who would bring the Smash setup. Eventually, I think that kind of transitioned into an interest in TOing because I was like, okay, I'm always bringing this. I want to coordinate something, really figure out who's the best. So I started just kind of running tournaments just for the hell of it. I don't know. I think it might be a personality thing. I've always loved just getting groups of people together to do things, and Smash was something I really enjoyed. So it just naturally combined my interests. So I did that in high school. They were terrible tournaments looking back. They were not good tournaments when I think about them, but they were fun tournaments. And I think that's what mattered most. Yeah, and so eventually in college, when I was a freshman, I'm looking for things to do. I see this poster for Smash. They're looking for someone to help out. And I'm like, oh, this is my time. This is exactly what I want to do. And so I jumped in and right away as a freshman started running our college tournaments. And I had this obsession, I think, with improving and always making better events to give people better experiences. It's just, I really enjoy putting on a good thing for people.
Oh wow, okay. So that you got an opportunities, was this like a club in college that was doing Smash stuff that you just became involved with and
Yeah.
sort of gradually took
Yeah.
a more active role in?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty quick because when by the time I had gotten to college, I was pretty involved with the competitive scene for Super Smash Bros. Just beyond my high school. And so when I got there, I right away saw things I wanted to improve. And the guy who was in charge of the club was like, hey, if you want to do it, go right ahead. I won't stop you,
Hmm.
which is both a good thing and a thing. Sometimes I think I took a little too much on my plate. I do things 110% or 0%. So that's why I'm kind of excited to be done with TOing for now, at least for a little bit, is because I really put my all into it, but that can be draining at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Especially imagine for live events, there's just so many more things you have to worry about compared to like the online tournaments that I put on. I can only imagine. I was inspired to do it by a guy who runs live Smash events that I met. That's how I met him.
Ah,
So he is kind of like my what's the nicest way to say this? He's sort of like my template. That's the word I'm looking for. He was sort of my template for how to
mm.
do events and what you should do and what's important and all of that. And I do just want to briefly mention how weird it is for you to say that the first version of Smash that you played was on Wii. I know this isn't a Smash podcast, but like, man, I just feel like that to me, no offense, that's sort of where it fell off. I was involved with Melee and then with Project M, which came after.
Oh
So
my god.
yeah, and I played in tournaments for years, long before my Dr. Mario days had begun. So it's just
I didn't
weird to
know this
be.
lab lore.
Yeah, this is shout out to Ontario PM. You guys are sick. They were like the first gaming community I was part of. That's how where I learned how great a gaming community can be. And then Dr. Mario came along, and that's how I knew it was worth spending so much time in. But anyway, I digress. Um, yeah, but it's like I said, something that's pretty rare in Dr. Mario. I think for people to be involved or come from other games or anything like that. Even Tetris, like you said that you started playing Tetris, you weren't great at it, and so they tried Dr. Mario, and it just clicked much better for you. I rarely find it happens where
Mhm.
someone's great at Tetris and thinks, I'm bored, I want to play Dr. Mario, and that kind of thing never really happens. So it's nice to have other people that have come from other communities who are more aware of like the broader gaming and competitive gaming world. Is somebody familiar with that? There's a topic that I did want to bring up because I think you're going to have a really unique take on it, given your knowledge on that. Because one of the things I love about the Dr. Mario community, and one of the things I think makes it very unique, is that of any community I've ever seen, I think we have the healthiest gender diversity of any of them.
Oh yeah.
It's not it's something that I think other communities strive for, and I've never seen any of them reach what we sort of have very naturally. That we've never really we don't do anything in particular to try to like boost our the amount of women in our scene or anything like that. And I think a lot of other games
Mhm.
would love, and they would kill to have the split that we have and the ratio that we have. But I'm wondering, maybe you have a unique take on this. What is it that you think is unique about our community that maybe allows for that or has caused that? And why is it that other communities can't do that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about this question all week since you've said it, and it's so hard because it seems so unique to our community. It's not like I can look and be like, "Oh, okay, this is what the Dr. Mario community and another community have in common. It must be this." So I've kind of theorized a few things. For example, at this point in time, I almost think it's become a sort of self fulfilling prophecy where we already have women playing at the top level who are seen. So other women probably see that, think it's a comfortable space for them. We get more women. It kind of is a cyclical situation. But then you got to go further back and think, okay, but how did that start? So that's what I've been really trying to think on the most. And one thing that I've kind of come up with, I've had this goes into this larger theory I have about women in gaming and why we're not as often represented. And I think it's because this game is older and kind of comes from before I think video games became so gendered that really it was a game anyone could play. Whereas I feel like a lot of gaming communities now, men are more likely to be raised playing games, so they're more likely to be in those spaces, and then those spaces are less open to women like that. So I think it's just because of the age of the game, that's something that largely has to do with it. And also the age of the community. We are an older community. I know.
Yeah.
um, but I think that does honestly help a lot. I think there's a certain level of maturity that, for example, I look at the Smash scene, which is the ultimate scene, is so young. And I think teenage boys don't always, they're not always the best company to keep. Whereas in this community, we're all just adults. And yeah, I just think those are what I was able to come up with, but it's so hard to say what exactly. I don't know what your thoughts have been.
Well, I mean, I think that first point is pretty on par with sort of what I've thought, which is that one of the biggest advantages that Dr. Mario has had is that there's been women involved in the scene from the very start, at least from when I joined in. There's always been women. Like you mentioned that you had found Dr. Mario through a video on the classic Tetris channel on YouTube, and I that's exactly how I discovered the game too. I saw people playing versus at this classic Tetris CTWC side event for Dr. Mario, and there are a lot of women represented in that video. So it
Yeah, I'm
feels
pretty
like,
sure I saw Heather.
yeah,
Like
there's
I
Heather, there's Sarah
pretty
Sparkle
vividly
was in that
remember.
video as well. There were some other women that I
Mhm.
are not really part of our community now, but were present at that event. So yeah, I think that there's it's and if you go back and look at old like the replay RX or tournaments that predate the DRMCs, they're sort of like the original DRMC tournaments. All of them
Mhm.
have had some level of representation of women, and Heather was one of the champions of one of those tournaments. So yeah, it's always been there, and I can never go back far enough to find a time where that wasn't the
Mhm.
case. So I think that helps a lot because, like you said, once you have that representation, it just sort of begets itself, and more women see that and go, "Oh, this is a place where I would feel comfortable being involved because I know there will be other women there, to hang out with and be friends with and all of that."
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is a big part of it. And yeah, the age of the community was the other thing that really stuck out to me because I do think that when you're dealing with a younger audience and younger kids, relationships between genders are a lot less nuanced. There's a lot less experience there, so is the nicest way I can say it. But and I think that
Yeah.
that contributes to a lot of the problems I think other communities have. And since as to why you see less of a representation there. So yeah, I think that that's spot on with what I thought. I always wonder though.
Mhm.
I feel like there just has to be some other element that really does it. But I think just yeah, maybe the age of the community and not just because they're older, but they're all just great people in and of themselves. All the
This is
amazing
what
people I've met.
I was talking with Bidwell about this, about how our community just doesn't have a weirdo issue, and it's awesome. Like, I don't know, we're such a chill community. It's like we self-select, we end up in the Dr. Mario community. Everyone who comes here, they're a cool person. It's so awesome.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean that's you said it, not me, but uh, but yeah, no, I do. I think like this is one of the best communities I've ever been a part of. And I every person that you interact with is just like this wonderful, wholesome human being, which sounds so like sounds like something you'd say if you were trying to glaze when it's not appropriate. Like you, so it sounds made up, but like it's really true, honestly.
It's
Uh,
true.
yeah, that's great. And I guess that's part of it, but yeah, I don't know. I just that's something that I've thought about for sure. Just because it's sort of like a puzzle I can't crack. Like there's got to be some reason, but maybe it is just I think if anything it's just having that from the beginning, at when the scene was just building its foundation really helped a lot.
Mm,
And I'm so glad that we have it and that it's just gonna beget itself into the future, and we'll continue to have that, because I know a lot of
yeah.
communities, it's an issue that they deal with. It's something that they would like to see in their communities, and they just can't make it happen. And it's probably just because they don't have that advantage, where it's not been a thing from the beginning. But yeah, I've always considered the Dr. Mario community to be a bit of sort of a bubble in its own little bubble outside of the rest of the gaming world in a lot of ways. And that probably helps a lot
Mhm.
too. That's if there's anything else that contributes to that, I think that would probably be it. Definitely. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all of the questions that I had for you prepared. Did you have anything else you wanted to discuss or anything like that?
There's one funny story I wanted to bring up
Yeah, absolutely.
earlier about why I started getting into verses more. And it's just a little anecdote where, so between speed and verses, I've been surprised to discover that despite the randomness of garbage, I felt there's so much more control in verses. And the reason I say this is recently I was watching some match on Fightcade. It was between Coop and I don't remember who else it was, but basically Coop's board was in a little bit of a sketchy state, behind by like 15 viruses, and I literally remember thinking to myself, why don't you just like throw in the towel and go next? Like, why waste your energy on this match? Isn't it over? And then he went back and won that match, and I just had to sit there and be like, wait, that I don't know. There's something so awesome about no matter how down you are, there's no such thing as an unwinnable match. And sometimes in speed, I feel like if you get screwed by the RNG, it is just kind of throw in the towel, go next. But versus, you can always claw your way back, and that's been really enticing to me.
That's interesting you say that. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And yeah, definitely think that I've seen much bigger comebacks in verses than I have in speed, on average at least for sure.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that's something we're probably going to talk about a lot today when we get into the
Oh,
analysis in terms of like how that's possible, because that's going to tie in. We're going to tie it all together. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that.
hmm.
But yeah, there are players like Coop are incredible at doing that sort of thing. I think that somebody posted, I think Snipe posted his best comeback ever against John Dat Flindo, because he was behind by, he was at the top of the board about to top out, and I think it's like a minute and a half clip where he just systematically comes back and John can never complete the board. It just goes to show that it's definitely possible, and we'll talk about that a bit when we get into the analysis for sure, which I think I'm just about ready for if you're ready to get into it.
Yeah, I'm good to go. Gonna take another sip of water and then hop right into it.
Sounds good. All right. So, we're on the bottom half of the screen for at least a little bit before we get the full screen treatment, which is nice. I always prefer those matches when from the live tournaments.
Yeah.
Um, but before we get into it and we look at the first game, I just wanted to uh, get your sense of general strategy and ideas, and how you approach versus in the short time that you've been. Because it sounds like you've been making an effort. You mentioned you watched a game on Fightcade. You sounds like you've been trying to do your
Mhm.
homework and putting an effort into this, which is great to hear. But in those efforts, like what sort of your mindset right now when it comes to like how to approach versus, especially maybe compared to speedrunning?
I guess there are a few different phases because what I'll point out a lot at the start of these matches. Phase one is just don't top out, just don't top out. Oh my god, I think that's something that's kind of hindering my game right now. Is I don't feel totally confident navigating the pills without the pill throwing animation. Like it really throws me
Mm,
off. And
hmm.
so my early strategy is like do what I can to keep my board as low as possible, which does sometimes mean sacrificing combos just because I don't want to build high up. Although I do love to get first blood. I love trying to
Hmm.
let a first blood combo rip, really slow down my opponent as early on as possible. So the first phase is just don't top out. Then the second phase is everything better be a combo or what's the point? I'd say I've totally actually abandoned the speedrunner mentality, which helps and hurts sometimes. I forget to clear viruses, but really, I want my opponent's life to be as miserable as possible. I think I would much rather have my opponent top out than me have to finish the board. I think that is my preference.
Hmm. Yep. Okay.
Um, Endgame is just panic right now. We haven't figured out the endgame strategies. That's another thing we'll talk about. When it does come down to, oh, I need to clear my board first, that's where I think I have a lot of room to grow as well. Is just balancing clearing stuff and getting the combos in. Because I think I'm a primarily combo first, but when it
Hmm.
gets close, if the garbage isn't falling in the right way and your opponent is able to just keep clearing viruses, then you better be clearing them too.
Right. Well, I'm glad to hear you say that you're very combo oriented. That's definitely the biggest change, I think. I'm a little surprised to hear that you feel weak in your end game because to me, players who are primarily speedrun focused that come to versus, that's one of the things they have the least trouble with because they're used to that's something you always have to do in speedrunning, whereas in versus you might get very used to topping out opponents that are weaker than you, and you don't get as much end game practice, and that can be a big weakness. But speed players don't really tend to have that. I suppose it's true that the end games that you're facing are probably a lot messier and chaotic than the end games in
Mhm.
speed, because of
Yeah.
garbage, because of the variables that come up as a result of that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that's going to be a big problem for you. I think the biggest reason that those end games are so chaotic is because of the issues that you might have in the early game and the mid game. So once you
Mhm.
sort that out, I think you're going to find end game a lot easier because you have that speed experience, and you're going to just have less
Yeah.
issues like that. But it is different, and it's something you'll pick up over time.
I
So
think
yeah, sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
I was gonna say I think that is the thing is during the mid game I kind of throw caution to the wind and so garbage gets everywhere. So I have really messy end games to work through.
Yeah, and that's I mean, you are gonna have messy end games sometimes, no matter what. But um,
Mhm.
especially when you see like a really top player play against someone of lower skill, and you see how the game plays out. Usually, their board is very clean at the end, and they don't have a lot of garbage to deal with. So it's definitely possible. It's not inevitable that you're gonna have all these messy end games all the time if you account for
Mhm.
that throughout the whole game. So I wanted to give you a bit of an analogy as sort of a mindset for verses, especially when it comes to the difference between verses and speedrunning. I want you to imagine you are in a canoe race. It's a 1v1 canoe race, and the winner is whoever paddles their boat across the finish line first, of course. But there is one catch. The catch is that each of your canoes is leaking. It's a slow leak. It's slow. Your boat is slowly filling with water. It's very gradual, but you will never get to the finish line in time just by paddling before you sink. So at some point, you will have to empty the water out of your boat before you can get to the end. That's sort of how I think about combos versus speed running in verses. Combos are something you
Mm.
have to be aware of at all times. Obviously, the end goal is always to finish first, or sink your opponent. But but generally speaking, you always have to know when you to paddle and when to empty the boat. And that's
Mhm.
really the key skill in versus is when to prioritize what. And in this case, the nice thing about emptying the boat is you don't just get the water out of your own boat, but you're kind of filling your opponent's as well. It's not purely defensive to combo, it's also aggressive, but it does lend itself to you experiencing less garbage the more that you are sending. So uh, that's sort of the way to think about it. Um, it's very key to prioritize when you should be comboing and when it's okay not to, when you should just make progress, and when you can do both, because the highest level players generally are the ones that both make progress on the board to get to endgame and also at the same time are doing combos and not missing opportunities like that. And when I watched
Mhm.
your match, I did note the biggest thing. I mean, I'll spoiler alert. I'll tell you right now. The biggest weakness I found was the just missing combo opportunities, and that
Mm.
makes sense to me. It didn't surprise me because you are primarily speedrun player versus is not something you're still getting into. But
Mhm.
that's something that is going to come up in these games. So we're going to just start from the beginning. We're going to go through these games, and I'll stop and make points where I think it's needed. If you do have anything
Okay.
you want to stop and take a look at, if you have any questions, don't worry about interrupting or asking me to pause the video. We can chat about whatever you want, but we're gonna just get into it. So we're gonna start by
All
looking at the
right.
opening. I always like to discuss the first pill. I take it that you're still able to see everything on the screen there.
Yep, it's all
Okay,
moving.
perfect, perfect. So I'm gonna throw it to you when we do these openings. You can see your first pill in the next box there. What's your thought for before I show you what you actually did? What's your thought in the moment right now for your opening move here?
My immediate thought is, this was the number one. If I could get any pill, it would not be this one for this opening.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't love the double red because it doesn't really make itself friendly to first blood. That's what I'm thinking. Normally, at the start of any versus game, I'm like, where's the simple short stack that I can throw together as quickly as possible? So
Mhm.
because it doesn't have that, uh, let's see. I know I probably don't want to put it with columns 3, 4. Like, I guess I could tuck down below and do a horizontal, but I don't, again, I don't love that,
Mhm. Okay.
but it's those are both options. So I guess I would be looking either all the way column 8, and there's still potential if I get like a yellow blue or something to make it into a combo, or down in column 2, just kind of there's a big drop there right now, and so lessening the drop. That's kind of what's going through my mind when I see the pill.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I think you're pretty spot on. That's pretty much my thought too, because generally speaking, in the opening, at least as far as I'm concerned, I think the biggest priority is how do I get a combo first before my opponent does. Getting first blood is never like such a big advantage that you can't lose, but it is often the
Mhm.
first the the first step towards potentially snowballing into a top out or just getting so far ahead that you can't possibly lose unless you make a huge mistake. So I then double stacks just happen to be the easiest way and the quickest way, especially on a lot of boards to get that first combo. That's not the case here. Like you said, there's no easy double stack setup on this board. So the move that I settled on for the most part was to do vertical and two like this. I liked your idea in eight on the right side here because, like you said, if you do get like yellow blue, if you get yellow blue like this, then you have a red yellow double stack you can do, which isn't bad.
Mhm.
But the other factor that I had in mind with this move is that beyond just getting first blood and that the other element that I'm always trying to think about, and this is something that I kind of learned from Snipe actually when did a VOD review with him many months like last year I want to say, is
Mhm.
he highly values flatness of the board. And the more that I've thought
Oh.
about that and played, the more I agree with it. There's a lot, we'll get into why that is, but the reason that this move is my choice is because this is a big gap that you have in the board here. And this double red is a good opportunity to fill that gap in without causing any garbage or anything like that. It's not really setting
Mhm.
you up for combos or anything, but it is stopping you because if you don't do that and you never if you leave this gap open and then a piece of blue garbage or something like that were to fall in here or yellow, then this starts to get a little weird. And again, flatness for a lot of reasons is just really good for your board health. We're gonna see a lot of examples in this match where you get like spires that like go this high, or maybe the top one is a blue like this, and this is like one of the worst things for board health to see.
Yeah.
And the same goes for pits like this. So that's the biggest reason I wanted to put the reds here. Also, if we get another double red, we are one away from an L combo, so it does kind of contribute, even if that's not likely. At least the opportunity
Mhm.
is there. And then we're set for maybe some blue red stuff going on over here, like this. If we, which we would be anyway, but it's just, it doesn't really interrupt anything like that. It's an inoffensive move. It fills in the gap, and it does give us an L combo if we get a double red. And honestly, NES version does like to give double like runs of pills more often than you'd expect.
Mhm.
Even the rare double pills, quote unquote. So it's yeah. You can't sleep on setups like that. So that's the move I would go with. I don't know that either of you end up doing it, so we'll start watching and we'll go from there.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, look at that. You did it.
Oh,
You were yeah,
boom.
you were
Hold
seeing into
on.
the future. You're That's incredible. Yeah, so I think that was honestly the best opening. You didn't get a double red yet, but if you do before this gets blocked off, or before you start a blue red double stack, you could get a combo. That could be the path to the first combo. And if you take it and Sassy doesn't, then now you're already ahead. So it's good to. I really like that move that you did. So we're gonna watch it. We're gonna keep going a little further. I had
Double red. Oh, I did not play the double red, but I get a
You did
combo.
not, but you got a combo
Mhm.
anyway. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that let me just double check. I have normal speed here because I was watching this with sped up earlier. Okay,
Mhm.
so yeah, we did the drill two. Got the double red. You did not use it for the L like I had been explaining, but you got a combo the next move anyway. So it was a very small mistake. I was just gonna say, don't be too worried about that. That's perfectly fine.
Mhm.
Gridley in the chat says flatboard changed my life. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. We'll get into why, but
Mm.
uh, flatness of the board is like one of the biggest elements of board health that is underrated. Most underrated elements of board health, definitely. But yeah, we'll get into that for sure. But let's keep going. So you're gonna set up a blue red setup over there. That's great. The red yellows go to the right as they should, and you get a combo. That's excellent. And you do this fancy little tuck like that. That's awesome. You shook your head there, and this move is the one that I wanted to point out. I don't know what you were shaking your
Yeah.
head about exactly, but this double red, I wanted it to be oriented just to the right. Like you just cleared it full on, and you got a 5 clear, basically, an empty clear, which is fine
Yeah.
because we're not going to combo with this double red or anything. But if we back up a second and we just go to here, and if we were to just do a move like this, oops, like this, and we get that red half to fall here. Now we have a red blue double stack set up.
Mhm.
So you get to take a little
Mm.
drop time, but drop time of a couple rows is really not that significant in versus, although it's not totally insignificant. But just little things to get you to combos faster is important. In the moment, it can be difficult to see stuff like this, but I did want to point it out as like an example of something you can do to try to build the combos faster. Other possible option that
Mhm.
honestly would have been maybe even been better than this as an empty clear would be to just do in one over here, just because this it sort of opens up this gap and it starts fixing things over here. But
Mhm.
I think if we just clear off the group in red, the group in four, and we do just let that pill half drop here instead. Just gives us a combo opportunity, which we're kind of lacking a bit on this board right now. So that's why I think it's
Mhm.
relatively important in this move to do that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like when I get double pills, I'm not often thinking, "How can I use this double pill to set up another combo?" So that's a I don't know, I think I see the double red, and on this board, my instinct is empty clear. So that's yeah,
Mhm.
that's interesting to
I
think
think
about.
that's a speed run thing for sure, because in a speed run you're just like, I
Mm.
avoided drop time, that's amazing, and it's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
in versus, the combo trumps all. I know that you're very familiar with the four pillars of Dr. Mario, which is for speed running, but
Yeah.
if we're talking about the four pillars of versus, the first pillar is combos. So above all, combos are one of the most important things to prioritize.
Mhm.
So yeah, and that doesn't just necessarily mean making them, but setting up for them in any way that you can. So that's especially when you're lacking opportunity to do that, which we kind of are in this case. That just small little things like that can make a big difference. All right, I'm gonna keep going here. garbage here.
Mhm.
Um,
I don't know what that move was.
I don't
I
actually
mean,
hate that too much, to be honest.
okay. I don't know that I love it. I feel like if I were to go back and do that double blue elsewhere, I'd put it in column 7
I was
so
just gonna
that
say there is
right.
one place where you could have improved that, and that's we go back before you do that. This double blue could have been, like I said, put here, and then
Mhm.
yeah, like you were saying, you can just do. Oh, miss my keys sometimes. You can do you'd have a combo set up right here, and we would have had a combo in 2 pills as opposed to empty clearing on the left. So, um, just another example of like combo opportunity we missed. Again, none of these mistakes are so
Mhm.
bad that um, that they lose you the game or anything. But this is these little sorts
It
of
adds
mistakes.
up.
They absolutely add up. Exactly. You just every time you do that, it's a hit to the rate of combos you could be getting and that your opponent might be getting that you're not, and that can make a big difference for sure. So yeah,
Yeah, that's been something I've been trying to keep in mind. I can't lie, I've watched the end game of Game 5 like 20 times now and thought of every way I could have won it. And I need to remember it's not just one thing. Like,
exactly,
it was the whole course of the game that led to that situation.
exactly. That yeah, and we'll go over all of that because that's
We'll get
definitely
there.
something
Yeah.
that I'm gonna bring up is showing places where that might have been the case. But we'll keep
Mhm.
going in this game at least, and we'll do these moves, which you did, which is fine. And now you have a red blue double stack, which is great. And that's definitely good that you just took that combo as opposed to waiting for the perfect pills. And we're setting up for a cross, and that's good. Um, but when you did this red yellow clear here, you started the idea of doing a drop cross, and I
Yeah.
would have really loved to see you continue with that because if you leave this hanging like that, especially T setups and crosses, if you don't complete them and then they get blocked, they can start to really jam up the board. So especially in this case where
Okay.
we didn't really get a combo or anything out of that move, if we go back to see the red yellow that you placed, like we didn't get any combo out of this move. It did sort of bring this down, which is nice, but it was a combo setup for a red blue that you also eliminated, and now you're not going to get that combo anymore. So not only are you
Yeah.
missing the red yellow setup on the right, you're also destroying a potential combo that you could have gotten. It's a little dangerous because it's pretty high up, but I mean, it's
Yeah, I think
it's
that was just the don't top out mentality. And I
exactly.
wasn't
Exactly.
yeah.
But even I mean, obviously not topping out is important. But uh if you're prioritizing it to this extent, it's you know it's maybe very important at the start of a game to prioritize your own safety for sure.
Mhm.
But you have to remember that that's just because it's the start of the game, which means that both of you start at the top of the board. So while it may be dangerous
Mhm.
for you, it's also very dangerous for your opponent, and it's probably one of the best times to give your opponent garbage. Because
Mm.
it can be very damaging to get a really bad piece of garbage at the start of the game. And if you look at Sazzy's board right now, she has some setups, but she's a lot higher up than you. If you were to make a combo or two at right now on this board and maybe block like her one of her 2 or 3 columns or her 6, 7 setup here, that could be a huge
Mhm.
problem for her, especially if it's against people maybe yeah, that are at your level right now that don't know how to get out of situations like that. If you do that
Mhm.
to someone like a Perula or a Pangolin, they are good enough to not die to that. But some players who are weaker than them, if you are hammering them with combos early and the garbage happens to be really good and they don't know how to get out of that situation, they could just top out and you could just win games off of that. So that's why you know eliminating your own combo setups, it's worth taking that risk and being confident enough to do that because that will win you so many
Okay.
games that just off of that alone, you're at your level, like you will just start beating people by doing that for sure. So that's why
Alright.
I pointed out for sure. Let's keep
Yeah.
going. So we get some handy garbage for this cross setup, and then you go for it. I would have liked to see this double yellow. There were a couple of different possibilities for sure. I think the best one probably is right here because now any red drops the cross and you get the combo. You just need
Mm.
any red pill to get to a combo, which is great. You also could have
Mhm.
potentially put it like this in 5, 6 instead of vertically, and now you have a T setup, and now any yellow gives you a combo. So there were a lot of
Mm.
different ways that you could have potentially contribute to a combo instead of just trying to clear off this garbage. So this is sort of the example you were talking about of like try to do a combo by any means necessary. So if you were able to do things like, oh, I need to clear this yellow piece of garbage, how can I do that? Well, I can make a T because there's a yellow group right here in column 3 just below it, and that's going to be the easiest way to both get a combo and also eliminate this garbage that's blocking my column 3. So
Mhm.
yeah, if it's important to try to, if you're doing a move, if you don't, if you see, if the first move you see doesn't contribute to a combo, it's okay to take a small moment to just double check and just see and try your best to find moves that do contribute to a combo in some way, even if it seems like it's a very outlandish thing like a fat log or something like that. It's still better than a move like this, which is really just kind of empty and doesn't really do anything unless again it's like
Mhm.
a safety issue, and you have to do it. It's maybe in column 4, very high up, and you're trying just making sure that you don't top out. That's different. But this
Yeah.
state that you're in now, you should not like, especially if you take this double yellow away. Like this is a safe board. You shouldn't feel pressured that high up on the board, generally speaking, because a lot of
Okay.
players. Then maybe that's something that you need to improve on because you're not used to it from
Yeah.
speedrunning. Top of the board play is one of those things that really does separate like really good players from medium players. And being comfortable at doing things at the top of the board and still trying to get combos makes a huge difference. So, um, like I said, there were two moves that were not necessarily any more dangerous that do contribute to a combo setup. So, just
Mhm.
something that's the mindset that you should have when you're looking for moves, and especially when it's really not like if you're not in the top 4 rows of the board, then you really shouldn't feel pressured at all. And if you do, then it's just something to work on, in terms of feeling more confident, in this early section of the game. Once you're past that very initial threat of topping out or anything like that. It shouldn't last that long. Once you're in this spot where you're
Mhm.
actually quite ahead, you can start to uh, you should start to feel more comfortable and start to go for more combos and things like that.
How often do you look at your opponent's board when you play?
I think depending on who you ask, that answer is going to be very different. I would say I
Okay.
look at it pretty sparingly.
Okay.
I mean, when I'm talking about, oh, messing up Sazzy's board because look at all these opportunities, I'm not actually looking at their board frequently during the game, trying to see and time the combos perfectly. Generally speaking, it is
Mhm.
just sort of a buckshot approach where you just throw as much garbage at them as you can because it's random anyway. It's not like I can target garbage
Yeah.
into the perfect, most strategically optimal place. Like it's random. It's just going to go where it goes. But the more of it that you do, the more likely it is that some of that garbage is going to be a problem because obviously you could just combo yourself. That happens, but there's no control. You have no control over that. But if it does happen, at least if you're sending more garbage beyond that, eventually it has to damage their board, and more often than not, it does. So
Mhm.
the only time I'm really looking at their board is just to get very quickly, just to sort of get a sense of how high their stack is, and maybe where I stand. Am I ahead? Am I behind? And
Mhm.
that's just sort of, whenever I feel like I'd like to check in on that. No particular specific time I try to do that. But
Okay.
yeah, so I promise you, maybe there are players like, the real savants like Snipe and Swang who probably like can look at both boards at the same time. I can't do that. And but the good news is I don't think that that's particularly useful. You really don't have to worry about that at all.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing you have to really be able to look at the board at for is to judge like, oh, am I really behind? Are they at their end game? Do I need to combo them more? Or are they about to top out? Should I just try to prioritize combos no matter no matter what the garbage is or no matter how badly I'm damaging my board because I'm just going to win anyway. Stuff like that. Like very general, like where do I stand in this game right now? But I'm not like analyzing their specific moves or any of that stuff. That's just too much for your brain and it doesn't
Mhm.
really help you
Yeah.
enough to be worth doing anything like that. Definitely not.
Alright.
All right, let's keep going. I don't think I have a note to make for some time, so I think that means you make some pretty good moves
Mm.
here. So I like that combo that you took, and I do like clearing the yellow away. We committed to that once we did it. I love the horizontal setup. That's really good. We're gonna keep going. We have yeah, some red blues that we can use to get a triple. That's great. We get a charity combo. That's amazing. And I also like that you prioritize clearing off 5 there. I know, and before I was saying, oh well, it's useless. You didn't really have any good moves. But when the board is like this direly different, it's like really the highest point on
Mhm.
your board. Cutting it down is perfectly fine, especially because I really don't see a better move that contributes to a combo. You don't really have a lot of access to red here. You can do some empty clearing, which is fine. I think there is space to make moves like maybe doing 1-2 here like this and just
Mhm.
clearing this out like you would in a speed run. Because again, at the end of the day, like I said, you do have to paddle your boat over the finish line eventually, and any steps towards that are good. But more importantly, is just keeping the board flat because that will just make things more conducive to comboing, and that is the ultimately the biggest priority. So, uh, just clearing off this big mess where getting like if you imagine a yellow garbage falling here at the top of this spire, like or blue
Ugh.
even or just an off color like that. Yeah, as soon as you saw it, you had a visceral reaction. That's what I mean. Like so identifying those possibilities before they happen and just taking steps to clear them off when you aren't trying you as long as you're not damaging a combo setup or you're not missing a combo opportunity, like these moves are really important to do when they're just sort of like a blade on your board and they're not going to contribute to a combo and you just have to get rid of them. It's perfectly fine to do that. So I really liked that you made that move. So we clear it off and then we set up for a combo somewhere whenever we can and we get that. That's great. Because like just to further my example, actually I just like if you look at Sazzy's board right now,
Mhm.
like you can see this column 7 spire that or pit that she just covered and her column 8's cut off. And uh like if
Mhm.
you put anything, the more you're stacking on the spires with garbage, the worse the board health's going to get. So this is a perfect example of why like board flatness is important. Like I mean you
Mhm.
never think about it, but when you look at it, if you look at two boards and I ask you which one is a better board health, you're going to pick the flatter board. And that's not why you're going to pick it, but that is how it's going to work out. So it definitely,
Mhm.
even if it's not something you're actively thinking about intuitively, flatter boards just tend to be healthier. So yeah, like avoiding this situation that Sazzy's in now is exactly why you make moves like that one that you just made.
Mhm.
I did have a nitpick here somewhere. Where was it? Was it here?
Oh.
Oh yeah, you just had a combo opportunity here. That's harder to see. I don't think you were setting this up intentionally, but you could have. You did have a combo with the yellow red by putting it here. It just drops into a
Ah,
horizontal.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I didn't think you were trying to set that up, but I just wanted to point it out, like that. When you have combos in one like that, it's you got like the more you hit those, the better off you're going to be. But you're ahead here, so it's not like a huge deal.
Yeah, I think I don't my horizontal brain sometimes turns off in verses,
That
so,
that's fair. Well,
yeah.
that's fair, but it's also definitely an issue because I think horizontal brain
Yeah.
is like one of the most important things in verses. Um, I don't have a graphic prepared to tell you this, but if I was gonna teach you about like how do I recognize combos and combo shapes, like that for the basics. If I told you what a short stack is, you know what that looks like, what a lightning rod
Mhm.
looks like. Well, the double stack and the lightning rod, as it turns out, those are the only two types of combos or combo setups in the game that don't involve a horizontal. Every other way to make a combo in this game involves a horizontal, whether we're talking about
Mm.
tees or crosses or drops into horizontals or sandwiches that drop into a vertical. So yeah, comboing is very important, like I've been saying, and
Mhm.
the easiest, like almost every combo setup you're going to make is going to involve horizontals. So developing that horizontal mindset is also a big step to versus. Whereas in speedruns it can be kind of ignored. It's a big part of combos. So identifying and being able to look at groups vertically and horizontally and plan around that and make moves around that is a big deal. And I think you know how to do
Mhm.
that generally speaking, but
Yeah.
that's something that definitely to think about more when you're playing versus for sure. All right, we'll keep going here. So we do have a lot of game to get through.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. No, you feel free to ask questions, but I'm trying to just clock myself here. I'm trying to watch the time code here so I know when to chime in. I liked this triple that you did. That was great. This move I didn't super love. It was a bit debatable because it breaks it does kind of like that red move I mentioned before because it definitely great for your board health. It makes your board flatter when this clears out, but it does break a blue yellow combo setup. I think it's mostly okay. Because you have another
Mhm.
double blue coming anyway, and not many other places to play it. So this is probably going to happen eventually. And you have other places like on the left side here where you can make a yellow blue combo. But I just wanted to point it out because this is one of those really ambiguous situations. In a real game, you're probably
Mhm.
not going to think about this too hard, so it's fine to do basically either or. But yeah, this is a little more questionable than the other red spire what you took out with a double. And if this
Mhm.
double blue was a blue yellow instead, then I probably feel very different about this move. Because then you'd be giving up a combo in two just from making this empty clear, which is not great. But since you have another double blue coming, like if you were to do a different move, this is probably the one you're going to make with the second double blue anyway. So it's not really a big deal. And again, in the heat of a regular game, not something it's still like it's mostly fine. It's not like one move is good and every other move is bad. Every move is like I don't know if you're familiar with chess and like have you ever looked at like a chess engine and how it shows you like how good every possible move is compared to each other and stuff like that? You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know chess at all.
Okay. So yeah, basically when I'm talking about like, oh, you should have done this move instead of that move, it doesn't mean that like you were wrong. Like it's not about right or wrong. It's like, well, this was like the absolute best move, and then this was like the 98th% best move or something, right? So
Mm.
some moves are actively really bad, but some moves are just like only slightly less good than the best move you could have made. And I think that's kind of what's happening here. But
Mhm.
yeah, I would just not worry about this in particular. I just wanted to point it out because it's super ambiguous, and because there is depending on what the next pill is in the next box, there's considerations for other things definitely. And then you do something here in a few seconds because you get a run of these and you make a double stack, so you're building combo opportunities. And I think that's something that's really important to do when you get runs like this. So you really nailed this one and made a combo to sort of make up for what we saw here when you cleared out that blue stack. So in a minute here, yeah, you shook your head after this last move, and I couldn't really figure out why.
Oh, no, I'm
Or
shaking
this
my head at the
garbage.
garbage. I get really upset at garbage.
Yeah, well, that's
I shake my
something.
head at, like
That's something you're gonna have to
Yeah,
overcome. That's never gonna go away. I hate to break it to you, but I hate to be the one to
I
tell you this.
know,
But
but I
but I didn't even
do
feel like this garbage was that bad. I thought it was actually pretty good.
It's the drop time, it's the drop time, I
Oh,
hate waiting.
you're just annoyed at the drop time. No, that makes
Oh,
sense. I
yeah, it
feel
makes
that.
me really antsy because whenever it happens, it's like, "This is where it all falls apart." I need to work on my bracket nerves is kind of the TLDR here.
Yeah. To be fair, I could totally get that because when you're sitting there and you can't move, it feels very disempowering to just not be able to play the pill you want to play. But it's
Mhm.
really important to never really thought about it this way, but it's coming to me now. It's really important to be able to control your emotions during drop time and really see it in a positive way as thinking time. Like one of the things
Yeah.
I'm going to mention probably at the tail end of this is like your pace of play. We're not going to get into that because it's like that's way in your future, I think, to even be thinking about it.
Mhm.
But uh, when you are a really fast player, you don't have a lot of time to think, except when garbage is falling, because then you have time. And it's important
Mm.
because when garbage falls, now it could destroy any plans that you had in the short term future. So you may have to come up with a new idea right away. But at the very least, you have some time while the garbage is falling to do that. And if you're wasting that time being upset about it, that's not really helpful. That hurts your chances of winning for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's if you get upset about garbage, just think of it as like this is my thinking time to figure out what I'm gonna do about it or what I'm gonna do next.
Mhm.
So yeah, that don't waste a second. Just because you can't physically play doesn't mean you can't be thinking and making plans about what you're gonna do next. And sometimes that's a perfect time to look at the other opponent's board and sort of take stock of where you are in the game. Sometimes I will look to see if I just look at the opponent's board to see, oh, am I about to get stun locked? Are they about to do another combo before it jump scares me and I just get upset about it, right? So
Mhm.
uh yeah, so it's a good time to think. It's a good time to do some screen watching and maybe get to take stock of where you are in the game if that's relevant to you at that moment. Definitely
Mhm.
anything other than being mad about it is a positive, I would say.
Got it.
Okay, good. So we'll keep going. I think it's this move that I was. Yeah. What is the issue I had with this that you did? Because you did a
I mean,
combo
I
that
guess I
was
could have
good.
made a combo, and I just chose the
Yes, the
horizontal
5-6, of
instead.
course.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially because we see the red blue, the second
Yeah.
red blue is coming. This is again one of those like speedrunning moves, which is great, but it doesn't contribute to a combo. It actually creates a traffic light in this first column here, and it
Mhm.
should have probably just gone here because now you're gonna get a combo on the next pill, and you're gonna stun lock Sazzy if you do that. So, yeah, just another
Mhm.
example again of where we're missing combo opportunities, especially in this case though, because you really like it actually, because it's a red blue, it really mucks up column one to do it this way. So yeah,
Mhm.
even if like I would have been even happier to see like a move like this, like that,
It's
just
funny
because you're
because
making a double stack, right?
when the pill was going over, what I expected myself to do was have that blue-red be turned the other way. That's what I was expecting the move to be. So when it went horizontal, even right now, I'm like, "Oh, why'd I do
Oh,
that?"
you meant to have this in the same spot but flip the other way to put the blue under the
Well,
stack of blues?
not what I, like, intended in the game. I'm just thinking now as I watched the pill move over, that's what I thought was coming next.
Oh, that's what you thought now that that you had done.
Yeah.
Okay, and
And
that would
so
have been okay too, honestly, because again, it sets up a combo. It puts a blue in column two to do a setup as opposed to this empty clear. But sometimes, and the other issue with this also is that that red blue option that I said you could have done instead of this. Oh no, that's the wrong button. That's the right button. This double stack setup, once you complete this horizontal clear, it's broken, no longer possible. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I really was not a big fan of this move. Just like a lot of things that actually kind of actively hurted you. Even though it was a clear and it was a good horizontal, it just broke so many other issues, caused so many other issues on your board, broke so many combo opportunities you could have had. Again, this is another example of like
Mhm.
being combo oriented. Even if it feels like, oh, I should be doing something to make progress, which is very common when you come from speedrunning. Honestly, it's way less harmful to miss opportunities to make progress than it is to miss opportunities to make combos. So
Mm.
even if you, because like you can really drag your heels when it comes to getting to the end, because as long as you're comboing enough, your opponent will constantly be covered in garbage and they'll never be able to catch up to you. So
Mhm.
you can think of the getting to your end game as like, we will get there, and I will make moves to do that. But honestly, if you're just focusing on combos, the progress to your end game will come naturally anyway, I find, as long as you're comboing enough.
Mhm.
So like there are players like Perula, and honestly, she probably goes overboard with this. She just stay. I feel like some games she just stays at the top of her board comboing forever, and she to the point where she doesn't even make any progress, and she's just comboing constantly. And some players are keeping up with it, and but she's just treading water too. So nobody's making any progress. Uh, but that is definitely more on the right side of the spectrum of combos versus making clears. So it's almost never bad to be making combos, even if it's not making progress on the board. So I'd always rather see you miss horizontal like that and leave that for later than to miss an opportunity to make a combo. That's how much of a priority that it has to be.
Okay.
Yeah. But we'll keep moving on, and you end up making a double stack here eventually. Uh, oh, it gets blocked, I guess.
The
But you
effort
found
was there.
the effort was there, but you're doing the best you can. And Sazzy's sort of making a comeback. Sort of, well, not making a comeback, but she is uh, starting to send garbage your way and pressuring you. So that's inevitable. I liked this T setup actually that you were going for a lot. You sort of stacked the blue on top here to do this. Now
Mhm.
I think that when you do this, the only nitpick I have is that this probably should have been flipped the other way, so that the blue's on top,
Mm.
so that after the yellow
Mhm.
clears, you now have a blue setup, and you have some reds over here on column 7. That if you put one more red on top, now you have another combo opportunity. So maybe that
Mhm.
could have been flipped over. But you at least commit to this tea and you make it. So that's definitely, especially I find when you have a lot of the same color of a pill, you're getting the same color constantly. It can be hard if it's not the one you need for like a double stack. Sometimes there's usually a good tea setup you can do, and when you're getting a lot of the same color, that's kind of the nice thing I like about teas and crosses is that they're the when you have a double stack, you almost always need to have split pills, and they have to be specific. But teas,
Mhm.
you can as long as you're getting if you're just getting always a blue pill, you can make a tea usually somewhere, and that's how you can get a combo faster. Which you kind of recognized here, which I liked a lot. It was just that blue yellow because now that it's cleared out, you can see where it looks kind of bad. And
Yeah.
if you imagine it flipped the other way, man, that would look so much better. The blues would be connected. You would have a horizontal opportunity going on here. It can be hard to keep track of all these things, but that was the only thing I had to say about that. But other than that, I did. You had the right
Mhm.
idea. You went for the T. That was definitely the right play in that spot for sure. Yeah, and you can see now as we keep going, that blue yellow just sticks out to me as like, man, if it was the other way, this would be because now it's blocking this red horizontal opportunity, and now it's blocked on the other side. You're gonna make the best of it here, but man, if it was flipped over, it would have made a big difference for sure. Going for a bit now. I think it's this double yellow that had something to say about that 326. Sometimes I look at this one that you did an empty clear on. It,
Mhm.
you actually had a combo in one with it right down here. If
Mm.
you make this horizontal, which you kind of had going on, and it actually would have made use of that yellow blue that was flipped the other way, which would have been awesome. But yeah, I think that is definitely the optimal move. But even if you had put it just like over in eight to like just get an empty clear here would have been better than break because you also again you had a combo set up for a double stack that you broke when you did that,
Mhm.
which again I know it's scary to have, but again at this point you should not feel pressured because I mean in the worst case scenario if you were to get like a red garbage piece here, you just empty clear this blue down and then the whole column falls and it's really not that bad. So
Mhm.
I don't think it's like breaking combo setups like that is really not something like it is actively going to hurt your win rate to do stuff like this. Hold out for combos, wait for the pills that you need. If this has been sitting on your board, this blue yellow setup for like 20 pills and you haven't got it, and you really just need to it's just really causing you problems elsewhere on the board, sure, then maybe you can do a move like that. But especially in a case like this where we also could have just gotten a combo with the double yellow as well. Um, yeah, even if we miss that, it's we can't be breaking up. You just can't be breaking up combo setups like that. Because
Mhm.
yeah, it's just you're just giving up so much value by doing that. I did not start the video. There we go. So you're gonna clear that off. You're gonna take this combo, which is definitely good. I don't have any issues with any of these moves really. We're just trying to make doubles where we can make them, and you're gonna start a little stun lock here, which is awesome. That horizontal clear is probably fine as far as I can see. You do this, that was great. Yeah, you did this in two like that, and you blocked the blue. I just wanted to point out, and I do this a lot.
Mhm.
You did have an opportunity to just clear the horizontal on this side, if you do it this
Mm.
way, and then you have it in one less pill, and you don't block off these yellows here. Just a small thing to
Mhm.
note. It's I miss these all the time. By the way, like when I have these open-ended horizontal setups, I always in my mind think I'm going to clear it from this side, and it doesn't even occur to me to check if I can even clear the other side.
Yeah.
Like it's just the way you plan it in your head when it doesn't work out. It gets me into trouble for sure. So I totally get see you this is what you had and you were thinking I could make a yellow cross this way and then you got the blue yellow and I'll just make a combo right now. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's just a small thing that hurt your board health a little bit, but you're so far ahead it doesn't ever really hurt you at all realistically in this game. But that's not always going to be the case. So it's important to point these
Yeah.
things out.
Again, any head shaking you see, it's probably garbage, so don't worry about the head shaking for now.
It's just frustration at the drop time. That's fair.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna keep going. You're gonna be very upset about that. That's for sure. Then we get a combo
Oh, what didn't
here.
I? Oh.
And then
Oh,
this, oh, I think you already see what I'm gonna say. Where does this red need to go?
no, that was yeah, it needs to be at the bottom horizontal.
Yep, because you had a
Yeah.
combo
Yeah.
opportunity that was missed once again. Yeah. And the great thing about that is that obviously you did this double red because you're like, oh, it's I need to like clear this away because it's very like high up on the board and annoying, and I need to get rid of it because it's just like the
Mhm.
most problem spot on the board. But if you take this combo and the blues fall down and
It
clear,
drops it
drops the
all
whole
down.
combo for you. Yeah, exactly, and it fixes the problem all in one spot. So this it's a great example of paddling and emptying your boat in one move. So yeah, that's why I specifically want to point that out because that is a big one. But it's fine. You're gonna win
Yeah.
this crown anyway. But uh, you would have won it way more handily if you had seen that stuff like that for sure. Now you're gonna get
Mhm.
a nice combo. I'm gonna pat you on the back here in a second. It was this. Did I miss it? Yeah, this L clear here. Like this is a shape people don't often see. And I thought that when I saw this, I was like, I wondered if you were gonna see it when I first watched this, and then you did. And I was like, hell yeah, so satisfying. Because like I think this is a hard shape to see. I feel like I maybe do it more than most people. But it's like sometimes when you need to just like clear, you have a horizontal and a vertical random group, and they don't seem to be connected in any way. Sometimes you just need like a split pill to do like a really wide L like this. I don't think this shape has a name. It probably should because I think it's a pretty important shape to pay attention for. But I loved that you saw this, so I just wanted to point that out for sure.
Nice.
Keep going, and like you're obviously very far ahead right now, and you're gonna just do what you need to do. It's like I mean, at this point, it's gonna be very hard for you to flub this, I think. But you're still playing solid. You're gonna lose this combo opportunity here for a double yellow stack, but that's fine. And oh, we lost.
Oh,
we no, we didn't.
transition.
We lost the transition. We're back in full screen mode, so that's perfect. So this garbage is gonna fall, and so you did this empty clear here, which again is sort of a board health thing, obviously. But I actually thought that the best place to put this, and this is hard to find, and I certainly don't blame you for missing this, would be to put the blue yellow either like this or the other way, like that, on top of these reds,
Mhm.
because you have this horizontal opportunity. And this is sort of what I meant when I said that there's most combo opportunities require a horizontal in some way. So one of the easiest ones that I
Mhm.
think is I call it the sandwich, where you just have your horizontal, and then you stack the bread on top to match the bread on the bottom, and then when you clear the meat out, the bread combos. So whenever I have like
Ooh.
a horizontal in, especially in the middle of the board like that, I always want to look at the row underneath and think about what I can put on top of it. Especially because sometimes, maybe not the case on this board, but let's say you didn't have a good spot for yellow blue and that was immediately obvious. Well, this might be one of the best spots to put it. And if you're not looking for stuff like that, you might think you have no moves because you have no yellow or blue access to put these on. But the horizontals
Mhm.
give you the great spots for these sorts of things. I think you can put it either way, either with the blue in 2 or 4. That's totally fine. But again, this is probably another combo opportunity that a lot of people miss. But anytime you have like a horizontal thing like this on the board, you can look to see what's underneath and just try to stack on top of it so that when you eventually clear it out, you can make a combo out of it. So this is sort of maybe the horizontal game that you've been missing that you can focus on more.
Mhm.
But it's okay because the board health is looking good. We'll clear things down. We'll get a little garbage. You'll get a little frustrated. That's okay. Or maybe a lot frustrated. And now, unfortunately,
Maybe.
that red opportunity is blocked, but you still stacked it on top, which I like because now you can just make it an even bigger combo. But you'll take a double. That's fine. And yeah, I thought you played this end game really well too. This combo was great, obviously. And then the way that you just sort of identified that you were able to get it into, and you're very stressed about it, but
Come on.
yeah,
I'm
but you
like, "Come
got there.
on,
I
Bill."
thought that was really well played because the board was really messy looking. This is one
Mhm.
of those end games that I was talking about that's maybe more chaotic than you're used to because there's just so much garbage involved that you would never have
Yeah.
on a speed board. But you did identify the path to get to the end of the game, so that was really good, especially that combo that led to that. sort of it all just sort of came together, and I think that was probably the fastest path to closing out the game. So, you say your end game's weak, but I don't know about that. I think your end game is probably stronger
Well,
than you think, but every
I don't
board is
know.
different, obviously.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like every end game I'm not planning far ahead. I feel like when I speedrun, I'm thinking end game a while in advance, whereas this, it's like the end game kind of comes suddenly, and I'm like, oh, gotta figure it out now.
Yeah, that's fair. That might partially be because you're used to, like you're not, or rather, you're not used to dealing with looking for combos and garbage interrupting
Hmm.
things. So you're very focused on that, and then once you get to it and you realize that you have like 5 viruses left, you're like, oh god, now I have to figure this out, and it just kind of creeps up on you. But that'll come with experience and time. Once you get more comfortable with like playing versus and combos, uh, setups and opportunities are more natural for you, then you'll transition into endgame a lot easier, at least in your head for
Hmm.
sure. But you won this one. That was great. We get a crown on the board. We love to see it. And we're gonna go into the second one, which was not as happy of an ending, but we'll identify why that
Not
might
quite.
we'll identify why that might have been. Let me skip
Hmm.
ahead, not too far. And all right, so here we are. So I think this opening is probably much simpler than the last one. Where do you think this red blue should go?
I feel like it should just short stack on the right.
in
Um,
in 6-7, I'm assuming you're seeing. This is obvious enough, but
yeah.
yeah, this is. I mean, sometimes openings are very like the first pill to place is very easy because it's something like this where it's like, oh, the board's completely flat. I have a blue red possibility here. I have a blue yellow possibility here. Yellow red might be a little sketchy, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, you just have a really natural place to put this. So this one's pretty easy. I don't think there's really literally any other move you could make that would even be close to this. This is just pretty
If
textbook.
I recall, I think I get a little creative with it, unfortunately.
With this opening, you don't think you make the obvious move?
I'm I feel like I'm looking at this board and I'm trying to remember, maybe it was the next game. One of these games I make a very creative opening
Opening?
move
I
because I
I'm sure I noted it. If that's the case, I can't remember off the top of my head though. So we'll see when we get there.
okay.
It'll be a nice
Let's
surprise.
see.
But let's see what you guys do here. I'm assuming you're both gonna do the yeah, and you get the blue red
No,
also.
okay, this wasn't the one.
Yeah, definitely not. I wouldn't think so. It's a pretty straightforward one. But there is going to be something coming up here, and we're
Oh,
going to
I
talk.
hate that yellow placement.
Which yellow placement? Which one did you mean?
That double yellow that I placed flat, I hate that.
You hate that? I don't hate it that much, to be honest. I mean, you didn't interrupt any combo setups, and it is going to connect and clear over here if you do get there. It does suck that you don't really have a platform yet for that, but I mean, you're basically one yellow red away from having it. So it's
Mm,
not the worst. I don't think there's a real like. I mean, if you really think about it, you could have put it vertically, I guess. That maybe might have been better, but I don't think this is as bad as long as you recognize that you have to get this horizontal eventually, or else it really will be a problem. Then that's fine. I don't think that's so bad that it ruined your opening or anything like that. That wasn't what I was going to mention at all, actually.
okay.
No, but what I was going to mention is that you're now so preoccupied with this that you did miss a pretty simple double stack over here. Now, I don't know if that was
Hmm.
because you were uncomfortable with playing high up on the board and you didn't think you could get it over. I don't think so because we're still at the starting speed, so it should be pretty simple to do. But is that was that part of it? Do you think, or like,
That's
would,
probably definitely. Like I said, it just feels it's something I need to just play more because without the pill animation, it's just a comfort thing. So that'll come
yeah,
with time.
okay, that's what I thought. If this was just because of comfort, I do get that. It's pretty easy. Did you know? I mean, I don't think you needed it in this spot, but have you ever learned about or know how to blink pills to the left?
Not a clue. No, I
Okay.
never took the time to learn
Well,
that.
it's very easy to do. I'm not going to get into it now, but basically,
Hmm.
it's very useful, especially playing at the top left, which sounds more niche than it honestly ends up being. But in a case like this, if you're really uncomfortable with it, you can like if it comes out of the shoe like just like this in the exact orientation you want, you can just in one action, just blink it 2 spots over and it's right there, and you can do that with both
Mm.
pills and get it. And it's so good that you can honestly get pills in like the very top left of the bottle if you're good enough at doing it. And it's honestly not that hard. A lot of people don't do it. I really think they should. That's the only reason I wanted to bring it up. Not that you needed to here, but yeah, you will if it's a comfort thing, you'll get used to that. And just as a quick
Mhm.
note, because you mentioned a couple times that you're kind of uncomfortable with the lack of the throw animation from the one player mode. Um,
Mhm.
there is a tool that is not easy to find because I couldn't even tell you where to find it now, but the exact same has made the Dr. Mario versus trainer hack, and it's a great way
Mhm.
to just play set 2 player and practice playing in like the 2 player environment without the throw animation. It's great for other things too, like just practicing making combos and practicing in like a versus in a way that you can't really replicate in the 1 player mode. But if anything, it's really good for that, where you get to play without the throw animation and you get more acclimatized to it. So I would
Mhm.
highly recommend that. We can talk after about it. Cause I couldn't tell you where to find it, but I
I
think.
think I have it installed, I just
Oh,
haven't
really?
used
Okay.
it.
In
Yeah.
that case, I would highly recommend using it. It's one of like my favorite practice tool
Mhm.
ever. We'll
Mm.
that's another topic for another day, but definitely if you have it already, definitely use it. But yeah, I just wanted to point out blue yellows here should have definitely like we had an easy combo into here. I felt like so if it's a
Mhm.
comfort thing that will come in time, but just keep in mind that like don't put it off. Don't put off your conquering your fear of playing moves like this, especially at the very beginning. It's because honestly, it's never going to be easier than at this moment in your game to make this move.
Yeah.
It'll only get harder as the drop speed goes up. So, yeah, you should get comfortable with that as soon as possible. Definitely. But we'll keep going. So you're gonna make that yellow clear, and we'll continue on because I think as this continues on, if I remember correctly, the way that it plays out, I start to get the sense that you're a little nervous about the situation on the left. Like this blue, it looks like maybe you tried
Mhm.
to get it over and you just missed it. You didn't want to hang the pill or something, and so you didn't clear off this column 2, for example. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's something to work on for sure if it's a comfort issue. Like this double blue, you do get that one over and it makes a combo, so it all kind of works out in the end. That's pretty good. We're gonna keep going. Not a great place for any of this stuff. Yeah, I don't hate that you cleared that out actually, just because it was getting a bit. It was just you're really running out of ways to stall until you have to clear that, and you don't really have another choice.
Mhm.
And that is a case where it starts to become a safety thing because if that yellow ever got blocked off with garbage, then you'd be in a really bad spot. So I don't fault you for clearing that out. Definitely not. A little more head shaking. We find this awesome combo. Love that. Unfortunately, we get capped off on the right. We're gonna keep going. You're just kind of trying to make combos the best you can. Now that you've fallen behind a bit, it's just become a thing. We're gonna clear that out. No, we're gonna keep going. There is something coming up here though. Yeah, so like this is a perfect example of what I talked about before, where we did this. You stack the red yellows on top of the horizontal to eventually make a combo
Mhm.
opportunity. So that's really good. Because this double blue is clear as happening now, though, you've really lost sort of a
Yeah.
good platform because unfortunately you have a vertical group here, and that's going to strand your horizontal. So you definitely want to avoid stranding a horizontal setup as much as humanly possible because these
Mhm.
setups are only really good if you do clear them out. If they get blocked or you strand them because you've got like a gap in your board and you don't have the platform to clear it out, then it gets starts to get dangerous. So I think in this case, once this you're in this situation, you have to prioritize getting these double blues now as soon as possible and to do it horizontally, ideally with a combo because you're already sort of set up to do that. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think even if you just put that double blue here in the column 1, which isn't too high up, then that would have been better than potentially taking that out. Because if you just put up this blue yellow, if this blue yellow now coming could have been placed here, or sorry, not like that. What we know how to do this here.
Misdrop.
Yeah, misdrop. If you put it here, now you're a yellow blue away from getting a combo, maybe even a triple if you then put a yellow up here, and maybe even some extra reds up here. Maybe we're looking at a quad, so it just looks a lot better that way. But now, because this blue is gone, now you're in a situation where this horizontal stranded, and it's suddenly actually kind of dangerous. I don't remember how you
Hmm.
play this out, but we're gonna watch and see what you
I'm
do.
not sure either.
Yeah, I think you just cleared this out because
Yeah,
you
I
said you would.
realize. Yeah.
But this is good. And you get a double when you make an L setup that combo. So you did exactly what I said, and is that was huge. Um, Small nitpick and is that you needed this double blue to make this L, because
Yeah.
no other split pill is going to make it an L, and then you could just take the horizontal and that's fine. But we could have actually just put the blue yellow like this. Sorry, to this side, and now
Hmm.
any split blue pills can be used to make the L combo. Just something, just a small issue
Hmm.
with how you built that, but you got the double blue anyway, so we'll just take those. We take those, that's no problem. Um,
Ah,
I
that one
looked away for
hurts.
a second. Yes, this misflip. Um, I
My face
just
is incredible.
yeah. Well, it really highlights the feeling of the moment. I'm glad that you also had this reaction to your move. That's I think the correct reaction. I'm not sure where you actually intended to put this. Probably just one in 1-2, just to get the blue side column down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured. It is unfortunate mistake. Now, I'm not trying to beat you up about this too hard and be too harsh, but I want you to remember this misflip because we're going to keep going, and by the time we get a little further on, we're going to come back to this because I think,
Okay.
to give you a little foreshadowing, I think this might be what actually ends up costing you this game. This mistake
Hmm.
right here, and it's not clear why in this moment, but we'll come back to it. So just remember this,
All
because
right.
we're going to come back to it and talk about it, but we'll keep going for now. And we get a combo, so that's great. This blue clears out, so it's not really blocking anything. That's always good. Oh, yeah, there was one other thing I also just wanted to point out, because you got this yellow garbage that fell here, and the blue cleared out. In a moment like this right side, I think you can clearly see looks awful. It's blocked
Yeah.
and it's not easy going to be, especially now that we're at speed 37. We've sped up a little bit. It's not the beginning of the game anymore. Getting over, and it's to the right. We can't even blink. So getting this off is going to be really difficult, maybe impossible. And then on top of that, there's not a lot of great horizontal opportunities to chop it down, which is sort of how you deal with these situations typically. If we are going to do that,
Hmm.
it's going to take a really long time. It's going to be really difficult to make combos out of it. In a spot like this, one thing that I personally like to do, is just like with this red blue pill, for example, is just to make like um, just a half umbrella like this. And
Oh, not the umbrella.
I know, I listen. I know it's controversial. I know it's very frowned upon in certain circles and all that, but I'm not advocating necessarily for a full umbrella. And in fact, I almost never do that. And there's a lot of reasons for that that we're not going to get into right now. But when a side like this is totally unsalvageable, especially when you've made sort of some amount of progress and you have a little space in column 6 and maybe even in 7, I don't hate doing this. And the biggest reason is because at the worst, you are going to have less garbage falling on this column 6, and it's going to be a lot easier to deal with clearing out this bottom right portion of the board. And when you get to endgame, it's going to help you out tremendously to do that. It's not the optimal situation to be in, but it really does help to salvage these sorts of horrible sides when the edge columns get away from you. And this applies on the left as well. It's not exclusive to the right side, but when either of your edge columns get away from you and you really don't think you're going to be able to address it properly without a lot of heartache and time, sometimes just burning a pill to do this is the best thing you can do, just to protect column 6 and column 7 by
Hmm.
extension as well, and just to give you a little more runway to come back into the game. And then it does affect how you have to play endgame a bit, because you want to now, once you do this, you want to avoid clearing out column 8 until your endgame, which can be tricky. But it's definitely a lot easier than just losing your entire right side where you're going to have to do it anyway. And this umbrella might help make it a bit less tricky for you in that end game. So I don't see people do this very often. I feel like this is something that I kind of came up with, to be honest. But just yeah, this and we'll come back to this as well, because I think this is something that after you made this misflip on the left, this might have at least helped stem the bleeding of the situation that you're in a little bit. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't expect anyone to like. I don't expect you to incorporate this in your game tomorrow, but definitely a concept to be aware of. I think that a lot of people are. I just don't do that. I think they probably should.
Okay.
So keep going, and
Uh,
obviously things are really starting to gum up here. And the edge columns being on all definitely counts as the board being uh, jagged. It's not just because it's flat in the center. It's got to be flat in all 8 columns. That's how the only way that it
mhm.
counts. But you're doing the best that you can, and we're gonna keep going here. You're clearing things out.
Yeah, I feel like I remember in this mid game getting frustrated because I knew I needed to combo, but I just couldn't find the combos in this moment.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing about
Yeah.
losing the edge columns, because it seems innocuous, but it really does. Like, just having one less column of space impacts your ability to do horizontals, which impacts your ability to make combos. So it can be really frustrating to make combos when you only have 75% as much space as you start with to build combo setups out and do that. So that's another reason why board flatness
Mhm.
is so important, because losing access to columns on the edges is can really hurt you more than you might think in the moment. And again, we'll get to that at the end of the game. We'll see what losing those columns does for like how that cascades into the rest of this game. But we'll keep going here. There
Mhm.
is something coming up here I think I did want to mention. I loved how you did this, where you just didn't wait for yellow blues. I think a lot of people just I say think, oh, it's a yellow blue setup. I need yellow blues. But even though red doesn't even match down here, you just took the combo as soon as humanly possible, and this red will fall. And
Mhm.
yes, it's going to block the column, but you made a combo, and you didn't have. Well, you did actually have one better place to put it, which is to use one of them here. But I think you're going to do that because you
Mhm.
have another red yellow coming anyway. So yeah, this sort of thing, love that. Definitely don't feel bad about. I mean, if you can match it with what's underneath, and if these were double yellows, obviously that would be better and ideal. But this is perfectly fine. Like, we're just getting a combo, especially when you're behind. Like you said, you've seen these games where Coop or these amazing players are coming from behind to win. They're doing that by taking every combo that they possibly can and stacking up their opponent's board and keeping them from playing the game as much as possible, because that's the only way you come back
Mhm.
from a spot like that. So the fact that you took the combo right away, that's exactly what you need to be doing here. Obviously we want to get the red yellow, and I think you're gonna well, not exactly. I liked the idea that you did
Uh,
here. I don't actually even
I
hate.
don't know what it was.
Yeah, I don't hate this that much, but because I mean, maybe we get a red cross now, and that's what you're thinking. But yeah, I think I would have kept it simple and just taken the combo. And I think this
Yeah.
maybe have just been in the moment. I think yeah, you made a little motion with your head. I think you knew that. I'm not really sure what I was trying to do there. I think I could have done that better. So you recognized it at least. So that's good. But
Yeah.
that's okay. We're gonna keep going, making the best of it, and yeah, now we're just gonna take a combo here. So that's good.
I'm really building up these reds. Okay.
Yeah,
Come on.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, this double blue again.
Ah!
Yeah, you see it.
Sorry.
That's okay. Listen, it's really painful to watch. Honestly, these coaching
Spot
sessions.
reviewing is the worst.
I know, and that's why I'm so grateful for everyone who comes on to do this, because watching stuff like this is so painful. When I watch
It's
back
the
my
only
own
way to
games,
improve.
it really is, but it's so difficult. It's so hard. But yeah, obviously this needed to be across for the
Yeah.
audience's benefit right here.
Yeah.
This doesn't really contribute to anything. It's just another spot. And honestly, doubles are some of the most powerful pills in the game, because they enable crosses like this. They enable horizontal plays you could only make with a double. So it's really important not to waste your doubles and to use them as effectively as you can. This was definitely a waste of a double, unfortunately. I think you already knew all of that, but for the audience's benefit,
Yeah.
yeah, take the combo, please. but you can still get a drop cross if you get some red blues. So we'll see what that happens.
That's
Uh,
definitely not what's gonna
that's not.
happen.
That's okay. You at least you make the best of it. We get some clears. Yeah, and now we're blocking off a blue yellow stack.
Ah,
But to be fair,
ah.
when you're in this situation, like this is a very pressured board. Like you don't have a lot of options, to be completely honest, and you don't have a lot of time to think either because you're so high up and you don't have a lot of space to maneuver. So when you get into this situation, this kind of thing is inevitably going to happen. Ideally, we want to
Mhm,
avoid those situations, but when you improve, you'll learn to be, you know, just to find your way out of these situations better and not be quite so pressured with the limited space that you have. But sometimes you just can't do anything, and the pills you get are garbage and not helpful in the
mhm.
situation, and that's why we prefer to just avoid it altogether if you can. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll get better at not panicking when you're in a spot like that. The more that it happens to you, and the more experience that you get with it, for sure. But you'll also get better at keeping yourself out of these spots too. So don't
Yeah.
fret too much about that. That's definitely an experience thing, I would say. And find a combo, and that's always important, especially in these spots here because you're going to need it. You make a double stack there. That's great. We do that. Oh yeah, this there's this.
I think I wanted the pill over earlier, if that's never mind, keep going.
What's that? Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were gonna rewind to something else where I wanted a pill. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted before that the red yellow to
Mhm.
go
You
over,
want it to
and I
go on
just
2, 3, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and I that's what I was gonna yeah, that's what I was gonna point out. Assuming it was because you didn't think you could get it over in time, but that's fine. Obviously you didn't. Once you couldn't get it over, you didn't have any really good move to do with it. So it is what it
Mhm.
is. Honestly, at least if you were gonna put it down here, you did it the right way and you set it up as a combo, and you will get paid off for that, and you're gonna get a combo here. So, it is what it is. That could have also that was a triple that we could have had here, where
Mhm.
you could have dropped it. Oh no, that's a screenshot. We don't want to do. We want to just put it like that. We get a triple again, another combo opportunity. It would have opened up the board very full. I think you're probably going to
Mhm.
get it eventually, so we'll just keep going. That's no problem.
We'll see. I'm not
Oh
sure.
Jesus, why is it taking a million screenshots? Don't do that. What is happening?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay, we got to edit this out. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna change
I can
scenes.
say whatever I want now.
I'm just gonna try restarting uh the media player to hopefully it turns off whatever I just did there. It appears to be fixed. So, uh, I forget exactly where we were. Yeah, this is where you did the red yellow
It's coming up.
situation.
Yeah.
So, can you still see? You can still see.
Yeah, I can still wait. Move your mouse.
You can still see the
Yeah, I see
screen.
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, time back in. I'm sure I'll edit that seamlessly. But you get a lightning rod here, so that's great. And you do take that combo that I said, so that was good. Now, I, at this point, um, we could keep looking a little further. I'm actually just gonna stop this here because
Mhm.
I can summarize what happened. This game goes on for maybe about another I don't know. Let's see, about another 3 minutes, and those 3 minutes are generally spent in the board here. I'm gonna jump actually to where this game ends, and as you can see, the shape of your board looks almost the same on the edges
Yeah.
the entire time. So I could go through and I could say, oh, you missed this combo here, you missed this combo there. But realistically, by that point that you got to the bottom eventually, but you couldn't complete your end game because you lost both your edges, and Sassy just did not. So she ended up getting to the end of the
Mhm.
board first. That's the long and short of it. But I just want to point out if we look at this board and we look at how we got here and how maybe that could have changed. Obviously, this blue red lost you the entire column that you misflipped back at that time, and
Mhm.
that definitely is what put you here in this place, and it put you there for a good 4 or 5 minutes of just trying your best to survive and get to the bottom, but put you in a really terrible end game position. And even on the right side, you can see now that column seven's filled to the top, and that umbrella might have helped a little bit. uh, in just keeping this side a little clearer. Obviously, it's very clear right now, but it could have helped to just help you deal with the right side a little earlier, which then makes the left side a little more bearable. And maybe we could have put something together to help that and mitigate some of the damage that you felt. So especially if you felt like the right couldn't be saved, and yeah, the left column definitely was avoidable, obviously.
Mhm.
But if you this is just to illustrate that, like, why it's important not to lose your columns if you can help it on the edges.
Mhm.
Because if you do, this is how it usually turns out, where you have a big pit in the center, and now you have, if it's even possible to complete it in time, you have an unbearably slow end game that's very complicated and difficult to maneuver. Which is sort of what
Mhm.
maybe what you were talking about when you're like, man, I get to these end games and I don't know what to do, and it feels like my end game's ruined. It's like, well, the truth is that this end game is awful and it would be difficult for anyone to do it. It's not a matter of not knowing, it's just bad. And we
Mhm.
just don't want to be here if we can help it. Now, sometimes it's going to be unavoidable and it's helpful to know how to do that. The short answer is you have to horizontal everything. That's really, until you can maybe make a hole
Yeah.
in the horizontal or in the column where you can start going vertical again. But more or less, you're probably, especially if garbage is falling, you're probably going to have to horizontal everything, and you're going to want to make combos, but it's going to be very difficult to do that. So ideally, we don't want to lose this edge column. We don't want to be here as much as we possibly can. So
Mhm.
if you find, like, obviously this was caused by a misdrop, but let's say that this red half on column one was just a piece of garbage. If that was to happen, I would try to deal with this right away. It's very important
Mm.
to make it a priority. If you are going to forego combos, it's going to be to keep your board flat and to keep your columns alive. The if you're in a spot like this, for example, obviously there's a red piece on top, but anytime you see like a group separated by an off color like this here, it's not a combo in this case. Sometimes it might be, but the easiest way to deal with stuff like this is to just make horizontals to cut these off pieces out. And then
Mhm.
maybe you can, maybe you get a row of space at the top. Maybe then you can do like a vertical combo that leads to something, and now your column is saved again. But if you just ignore it,
Mhm.
you really can't afford to do that, because this is the end result. If you choose not to address it, you just get into a spot like this, and uh, maybe your opponent will find themselves in the same situation, and then the end game gets really interesting. But uh, obviously, that's not what happened here. And if you can be avoiding
Yeah.
that situation when your opponent is in it, you're in a great spot. So, um, yeah, the moral of this game is you lost because you lost your edges and didn't address them. And
Mhm.
obviously, there was a misdrop, and I won't fault you for that. Try not to do that in the future, obviously. But
I'll work on it.
but if it does happen, whether by misdrop or by garbage, the lesson is to make sure that you go out of your way if you have to address those and keep your board and edge columns alive. It might seem
Mhm.
counterintuitive, especially when you're used to speedrunning, but it's absolutely worth it. All right, let's we're about halfway through, so that's good. We're gonna keep going. Try to keep this brisk. Let's go to game three. I don't know why I rewound. That's silly. This is game three now. No spoilers, please.
Ah.
Okay, so you're gonna start here in a second. Oh, I had it. Okay, here we go. Round number three. This is not a straightforward opening, I don't think. But where do you think you would want to place this?
Yeah, I don't love it, but I think I would just take column 6 and 7. I think that's the simplest thing that immediately comes to mind.
Yeah.
There's also a world where, like, if I get fancy for some reason, I flip it the other way in 4 and 5 and do
Oh,
something there, eventually drop with the red horizontal. But that's like if I don't think I would ever do that. I'm just
yeah.
saying that's something my mind sees, but I don't know why I would do that.
I think that might be a little fancy for your own good, because if you were to put it
Yeah.
that way, if let's say you do this, I see your idea where, oh, I'm stacking blue on top of the red horizontal, and eventually I'll clear that out. But to really get access to this double red to clear it horizontally, you have to clear the double
There's a
yellow. You have to
lot.
clear the yellows, which
Yeah.
you would like to clear horizontally in that case, but you've also just stacked vertically on top of it now. So it's
Yeah.
just really not going to work out that way. but I like the creative thinking and like think you can stack, on top, stacking the bread on top of the meat of the sandwich combo. I like that. One other only other move that I thought was maybe kind of fancy was this one, where maybe now you're setting up for like a horizontal,
Yeah.
but the stubble reds are really far down, and you'd have to block them in order to make a platform here. So this is probably just a bad move too. I think it's just 6-7. We'll see
Mhm.
what you guys do here. And you're going with the
Ah!
1-2. Yeah, right. I don't. I think it's just a weaker move. Definitely not as bad as the fancy move that I'd pointed out, or even the fancy move that you had pointed out. So I would say it was definitely, one of the acceptable moves, but probably better to just go for the double stack, like, and you can see
Yeah.
Sazzy did. That's
I
okay.
think I was distracted by the yellows looking horizontalable.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know if I'm gonna horizontal them. I'm pretty, but in the opening, I was like, I think it was speedrunner instincts in the opening.
Yes, definitely. That makes a lot of sense because if you especially seeing double yellow coming, you're like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna just match these up and then I'm gonna clear these horizontally with 0 drop time. It's gonna be amazing. And you might do that here, and it might not be the worst, but
I don't know. I think I switched back to, I don't know. We'll see. I don't remember.
let's see
What
what
do
you
I
do.
do?
I think you had a
No, no,
moment of it.
I switched back.
I think you had a moment of indecision, and that's okay. I mean, this could be maybe better served if you just laid it flat across. But at the same time, you have
Yeah.
a red yellow situation in the center that you might not want to interrupt. So this isn't too bad. Again, like there's very few moves that you're gonna see where even if it's not the best move, it's like so horrible. So even if you're taking like the second or third best move you could take, it's not always. Sometimes it doesn't even really matter, to be honest. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's perfectly fine. I don't even hate this move that much. I hope this blue red goes into 7-8 though. So let's keep going.
It looks like it's on a journey there. Yeah.
Perfect. Yep. So that double yellow that you did
Mm.
there, I think you're seeing the theme here.
I'm starting to pick up on
That's
things.
good. That's good. You're picking up on it before I say it, so that's good. But the better
Yeah.
spot, especially seeing double yellow in next box, is to make a double stack and
Yeah.
take a combo in two. Uh, and as for the move that you ended up doing, um, it doesn't really contribute. It actually breaks the red yellow combo setup again. So you really want
Yeah.
to avoid, like, if you can. Obviously, there's going to be times where you just don't have another good move, and you're just going to make your board too damaged, and you have to just break your combo setup if you feel pressured by garbage and just like you're
Mhm.
a bad board health or whatnot. But yeah, obviously in this case you had a much better option. So yeah, keeping an eye out for not just first combo setups, but trying your best to find any move that doesn't break the combo setup is huge, super important.
Mhm.
So you really need to try to avoid doing that because it's come up quite a bit. Yeah, in just
Yeah.
two crowns and change here. So that's definitely something to write down on your mental notepad to look at when going into your future games for sure. Obviously, the garbage would have ruined your combo on the left anyway, but that's okay. You're gonna take this combo, and that's great. I don't actually hate that too much. You could have tucked it in the bottom right, I guess, if you had seen that. But the
Mhm.
important thing is you did not do this, which would have broken your combo setup and would have been horrible. So even if this move looks bad,
But
I don't hate it that much. Although it looks like maybe you're not going for
yeah,
that,
I don't know.
but you did. At least you didn't eliminate the possibility entirely.
You're not gonna like whatever happens next, I feel like. No? Okay.
Well, you
Phew.
get this double yellow double stack, and that's fine. And honestly, that double blue, I don't think that's too terrible. Um, but yeah, that's just no, that's perfectly fine. I mean, the biggest problem with your board
Okay.
now is you have less yellow. You don't have as much yellow. I mean, you could. There are better moves, I guess. You could have tucked it in. Like there are tucks you could have done, but I mean,
Mhm.
this blue group that was not contributing to a combo setup anyway, without a little extra work. So it's not that big a deal, I don't think. I did see this move, and again, this isn't really that bad either. But if I stop here, this is the move that you did, where you just let it cleared and let
Mhm.
it drop, did not combo. Can you think of a better move here? If I asked you to choose a different move than that,
With this red blue, I see a kinda L setup at the top is what comes to mind. I don't know what you're
where
seeing.
is it? Where is it that you're
Like,
thinking? Like
red Yeah, it's standing there, so the red lines up and then the blue's on top.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
I
something I like,
This is the
yeah.
also the move that I saw. I thought you probably would see it too if you just had like a little thinking time to, and I gave you the
Mhm.
set you up for it. So obviously stuff like this, like this board does not have a lot of good double setups right now, and that's another time where looking for L stuff like this, L's and T's and crosses is really helpful. The best thing about this is
Mhm.
even if you were to get blocked here by garbage, uh, once you complete this horizontal, you can just kind of set up. You can just kind of set up on the other side. It's a little tricky actually now that I'm looking at it. Once you put the red here, but you have so much red on the board that you could set it up a different way if you absolutely had to. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think looking for L's and T's are great on these boards that are missing a color. That's another good time to look for combos like that because uh,
Mhm.
generally speaking, if you want to set up a red T and you get a yellow red, well now you have a good place to put it because that yellow was going to block something anyway. But now at least the red half is contributing to a combo, and it doesn't matter if the yellow's not matching up because it wasn't going to match up anywhere anyway. So we will keep going here. Some kind of unfortunate garbage. You do eventually take this double stack, so that's good. We clear out the yellow because we don't really have a choice. We're just getting all these double yellows when that's not what we wanted at all. Um, and yeah, it's good that you did. Like I was saying before, when you sometimes you just get runs of pills, and especially doubles, if you get that, it can be kind of sometimes a little tricky because you don't know when the run's gonna end. But you should always try to be like making
Mhm.
easy combos with that, even if they're just empty combos that you're just building purely out of these doubles. Uh, you can just that's just easy combos, and
Mhm.
you're never sad about that. Unfortunately, the garbage is going to steal your yellow blue over on the right here, but otherwise your board's looking very good at this point. I think in a moment here, yeah, the garbage. Is that just because of the fall time, or is it because the garbage just stole your setup for an L that you were about to get?
There's definitely the L. I was really frustrated about the L that would drop into the red horizontal in this moment. Or maybe not the red horizontal, that was garbage as well. Or
Yeah,
was it?
exactly. But the good news is that you're
Yeah.
still going to get a double out of this. It might not be a triple, but you do find
Mhm.
this nifty little combo, and I thought that looked really cool. So that's good. You didn't, you didn't, your brain didn't completely break in rage over that. So that's the important thing.
It's minor tilt. It's minor tilt.
Minor tilt. I
It
like that term.
I
It's an occupational
And
hazard.
now, this is where it all I'm pretty
Yep,
sure
I love
this is
this
where
T
it falls
setup, but
apart.
oh yeah, you don't like
Yeah,
that, and I
this
don't
is
like it
when it
either. That is very honestly that this was all good. All these moves you made leading up to this, totally fine. This is just unlucky garbage. That's gonna happen. Going for this T,
yeah.
I mean, it was 25% chance that the garbage blocks it, which should be in your favor, and even technically less than that because if it was a red, it would have just given you the combo. So quite unlucky. It happens. Obviously, it's very
Yeah.
frustrating, but now again, this is your thinking time. Now you have to think of, oh, how am I going to deal with
This
this?
is not my thinking time. This is not not in this game. I mean, it is. I'm learning that now. It's thinking time. I
Yes,
have a bad feeling that what I do is I put that double blue on top of the meat in the sandwich out of like instinct of where I was gonna
in
put it.
column 5 here, you
When I
mean?
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like it would be better to not plug off that yellow that's already plugging off everything else.
That is exactly
Uh,
right. I didn't note it, so you probably didn't do that. But
okay.
yeah, I would agree with you. Like to put the double blue here like this, that would be probably ill advised because at this point,
Yeah.
especially now that this yellow got blocked, your biggest priority is I need to unblock this and get this red T done immediately because a I'm going to get a triple out of it, or at least maybe even a quad if I can maybe combo these yellows, double yellow red, and then like this, and then a yellow red, and then this red will drop, and then the blue will
Mhm.
drop, and then I'll get one, two, three, four. And that would be amazing. We all love a good quad, but if you put the double blue there in that spot, like you said, it's yeah, like this yellow is now in a pit. It's insanely hard to get out. Red yellows will not
Mhm.
help you. Well, they mean they can, but now you're stacking up here. It's getting real dangerous. You're starting to get in your top 4 rows. It's not good. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would much rather see that over here in column one, or even I mean almost anywhere else really, to be honest. But because you
Let's see
this
what happens.
every yellow you get should go towards unplugging this and clearing the whole thing
Mhm.
out. But let's see what you do. You do that. You take yeah. I mean, you passed the combo, but you are prioritizing this. And honestly, I think either one is fine. It's probably debatable which one is better. This is perfectly fine. I'm
Mhm.
glad that you're prioritizing this. And then you get even
And then
worse
that happens.
garbage.
Yeah.
And then even more garbage, and it's just like, oh my goodness.
In
But
that one spot.
yep, but you do find a really creative way to unblock it. You get a double out of unblocking this. You made a combo out of it, and suddenly, even though that looked terrible, your Ed T setup is finally open again. That's huge. That's really good that you didn't like miss that because you were frustrated or anything. So you prioritized this perfectly.
Mhm.
That was awesome. You're setting up for even more combos. You're just extending the combo so you get that red, and now we're gonna get the double, the triple, and the quad. Life is good. We like this.
Now I'm just in clearing mode, I guess.
Yep. Well, I mean, you're doing
Mm.
you're just sort of clearing things out. You don't have a lot of combo opportunities, but you do have this yellow blue to drop. You got this double yellow instead. That's fine. This red
Oh,
yellow.
yeah, this is yeah.
Oof. Yeah. Uh, now, I going back, like I said, it is good that you took this yellow blue combo, but I think just because as
Mhm.
I think this yellow need to be prioritized better because as you can see now that
Mm.
it's happening, this is sort of really damaging to your board.
Mhm.
And again, you were gonna get a combo with any yellows, so you get to eliminate this problem and you get a combo out of it. That's to me
Mhm.
that has to be the best way to go, the best path forward. So it's not you got a combo instead, which is fine, and this is not unsalvageable, but it does set you back quite a bit now that this garbage has fallen. And I think it was probably avoidable if just prioritized this combo instead of the other one. That's all. And honestly, things get pretty dicey from here because I mean, Saz's board
Yeah,
obviously
I think
is very clear. You've been dealing with a lot of issues and not really had a lot of free reign to get the combos that you want to get. Uh, and generally, when that happens, it gives your opponent more runway to combo you. And so
oh, I definitely
it's
misdropped. Yeah, there it is.
yeah, I think it's clear that you didn't mean to do that. You recovering pretty well on the right, but oh, I think I just rebounded by accident. Yeah, and then you'll do this misdrop, and honestly, you'll probably get this double blue over. But now that the left looks like this, and given how far ahead of you Sazzy is, I don't think that there's
Mhm.
really any way that you can really recover from this. I think she just has a pretty uncontested end game from this point. You're going to make some triples. You're going to do the best you can because if you're in the spot,
Mhm.
if you have any hope, that's how you do it. But I think even a top player would have a really hard time coming back from something like this. So I think the only thing that really cost you the most in this round, because like I said, you did a lot of great moves, but it was really just a matter of combo rate. Like I was saying, if you're making more combos than your
Mhm.
opponent, you can win a lot of games based off of just that. And that's kind of what Sazzy did to you here. She just had more combos than you did, uh, and uh,
Mhm.
and it put you in a bad spot that was difficult to deal with. Whether or not you could have recovered from it better is another story. But at the end of the day, you she put you in a bad spot, and that's what led to this top out and the situation
Mhm.
that you were in. So um, I, I again, this is just you'll these kinds of games just become totally avoidable once you improve your combo rate and you prioritize that a lot more.
Mhm.
Pace of play obviously makes a big difference too, but that's definitely an experience thing as well. So there's not much to say there. I think but even just a little more garbage would have made a much bigger difference than you might even think. Because, like I was saying, when she's making combos on you, and you're getting a lot of garbage. It's limiting your ability to keep up in sort of the combo mini game. So,
Yeah.
if you had just comboed her back a little bit more, and the garbage fell in good spots for you, then I think the game looks a lot different. So even just a small increase in how many combos you're sending can make a big impact. and avoid situations like this. It's easy to be like, oh well, I had garbage that fell in this spot and that spot, and but at the end of the day, I think really the only thing you really have to you can the one thing that really contributed for the most part more than anything was just more combos really, and not missing
Mhm.
opportunities when you could have had them and getting them faster than you did. And she just did a better job of that this game, and that's how it broke down. But yeah, so just to add to that theme a little bit. Other than that, though, we'll go on to the next one. This is kind of a long one, but we know that you got to game five, so you do win this one. That's pretty good. We'll see
Mhm.
what you did here. What is the opening? I think this is a tougher spot, so I'm curious to see what you think.
Yeah, let's see. Double blue. I think it's probably gonna end up in some way in column 2 or 3 or both. Not 2 or 3, sorry. 3 or
Three or
yeah,
four?
3 or
Yeah, okay.
4.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say. I think that's surely what you meant. Yeah. I mean, do you have any specific placement you would want to make
I'm
here in 3 or 4
I'm
or
not
somewhere
sure if
else?
I like it. I don't know. Like, if I'm playing this game, like, if I were to play right now and I had to make a decision in the next 3 seconds, I'm probably standing it up in column 3, but when I look at it, I think there's a world I like just flat in 3, 4.
Okay, that's fair. Uh,
Those are what come to mind.
for sure. I think my first instinct is this flat play that you gave me for 3 mostly because
Mhm.
you might be concerned about like the double stack opportunity in 2-3 that you're sort of giving up, but you can just tuck any blue yellow in here, uh,
Yeah.
and you still have a double stack setup. So you're not really actually losing anything, even if it seems like you might be. The only other move that I thought of that was a little fancier was to do something like this,
Yeah.
where you have an opportunity now to put yellows up here and do a little sandwich combo if you get a blue red.
Mhm.
But I think that's probably a little fancier than it needs to be. To be perfectly honest, I think. I mean, I think it's defensible though. It's hard to say. I think which one's better.
Mhm.
It's probably one of those two, and I think this is not the red. Well, we want the blue one. Yeah, I think the blue horizontal in 3-4 is probably just a pretty standard safe option to do. I think that's probably the best you can do. It's a pretty. I mean, another one I'm seeing right now in the moment is maybe over here, but I think
Yeah.
that's even crazier because it's like setting up like this when it's just one virus and you don't even have a second piece in the group and you have to do three. You're three away from actually clearing this horizontal. It's not. I mean, there's better moves. There's almost always better moves than that. It's not bad, but it's not that good either. So I think the
Mhm.
3-4 is probably the best way to go in the spot here. In this spot here, like that. So let's see if you actually end
Yeah.
up doing that. Yeah, you did the vertical.
No, I put it in 4.
Yep, and that's okay because you don't end up getting anything consequential anyway. It's unfortunate that this first split garbage blocks you there, but
Yeah.
that is what it is. I'm not too worried about that. But you do have to now
Mhm.
address it. And you put this red yellow over here. I think I would have preferred it just clearing this yellow away. Uh, or
Mhm.
even, well, actually, no, not underneath. This red is actually not a huge issue because you can tuck underneath to right here in order to clear this column
Yeah.
down. But then this becomes the most important thing to deal with. So even just going like this, it's not a combo, but like you said, this is one of those cases where you don't have a better spot for it, and now you can prioritize the move that keeps your board health in check, keeps you from risking a top out and whatnot. Uh, that's I
Mhm.
think better, especially here because you're kind of just blocking this blue, and there's a yellow garbage here, which makes these two columns really awkward. So I didn't love this. It's okay to make moves
Yeah.
like this. I know I was saying earlier to avoid stuff like this, but only if you're giving up a combo. If that's sort of like the way to prioritize it. Since you don't have a good combo opportunity here that I can find, I think this is probably the best way to that's when you can make moves like this that
Yeah.
value your board health over anything else. But you do tuck under, so that's perfect. keep going. More unfortunate garbage for sure, but you're prioritizing well to clear out that left side and keep the column alive, so that's awesome. The right is getting a little out of control, but this underclear that you just did was huge. This is just like one of those
Mhm.
board health moves that is super important because otherwise there's no dealing with that. The blue falls into place very well here, so you can eventually clear this out horizontally. I don't. You maybe you'll put this on the left in this double stack. I'm not sure, but my point is that underclear stuff like that. Underclears are actually huge for dealing with columns if you have a gap in order to do it. So it's good that you saw that. Some timely garbage will open up the right a bit. This I just want to point out, man, this yellow. If this was not a yellow, that would have been really bad. But luckily, it is yellow, and you're just going to clear it out. I don't see if you had an opportunity. I don't think you did to clear it out any sooner. Maybe you could have used this yellow red to do so instead of putting it
Mhm.
here. I don't super love that, but it all works out. All's well that ends well, so that's perfectly fine. Yep, we're setting up double stacks. Take the lightning rod combo. That's perfect. Yep, clearing that off is fine. Making a double, and then of course we're gonna we lose the combo opportunity over there. So you clear things off. Maybe we could have put that on the left, but the right is so much higher than the left, and that's probably okay. I think I have an issue with this blue red because you kind of just drop this down. I think in this case, you definitely do want to put this blue red
Mhm.
in this column here to just set up a double stack because this is also a blue. This is just another example. It's the blue yellow setup that you broke, and also you had another
Yeah.
place to put it. So even if you're building multiple setups and you're not actually knocking any of them down, if that's just how the pills fall, that's perfectly fine. And again, you're not quite high enough where you should feel too pressured, like you have to take this down. So I don't know if that's an issue of just prioritization, of just prioritizing your safety a little too highly, then it's just a matter of
Yeah.
adjusting that. But yeah, definitely try to avoid, especially once you get to this stage. Once you get it, like the early opening, like once you get past the first couple of rows, then you shouldn't really need to prioritize your safety too much anymore. It's really just the top 4 rows of the screen more than anything, which is pretty much where you live at the beginning of a game, where you have to worry
Mhm.
about that. But once you're in a spot like this, it's not shouldn't really be as big of a priority for you. Finding another good combo. I'm assuming this blue red is going to go where I think it's going to go. Perfect.
I sure hope so. At this point, I don't trust live Bella very much.
That's fair. Well,
She's
this
doing her best, but
well, she's doing really good here because you saw this opportunity with the yellow reds to just bring this combo down as soon as you could, and you get a triple for your trouble, and the red actually matches up at the bottom at the end. So, uh, being able to look deep in the stack like that is really important. We get a charity combo. We'll never complain about that.
I think I was annoyed about the charity combo
Oh, don't
actually,
ever.
because
You get
well, I wanted to do something different.
That's fair. Like if I'm just saying if unless it like makes a way worse combo than what you could have done or something like that, which is pretty rare. Charity
That's
combos are
true.
great. It doesn't block your board. You don't lose a combo setup. You get a combo for free. Life's pretty good when you're getting charity combos. The game's just kind of doing the work for
Mhm.
you. I never complain about that. And you at the last second go, no, I don't want to lose my combo. So that's great. You're already learning
Look
on the
at
fly.
that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for the next little while, I honestly don't have anything to really critique. You're playing very straightforward, but it's all correct and it's all basically optimal. I would have liked to see the triple bit taken there, but I mean, you're still setting up for a double, so it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah, I think sometimes I forget about plans. Like I set them up and then I go look at somewhere else on the board and then I just need to like I think my board awareness could use some work.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think that a lot of people probably fall into that category, and even really good players like will miss things like that, especially because I mean, obviously doing this in VOD review, you have all the time in the world to see the stuff and to pause and go
Yeah.
back and look. But when you're thinking about so many different things and you're trying to play fast in the moment, and especially when you're on a tournament stage, it changes everything. I'm sure from your Smash days, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like
Oh
this,
yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
I'm of the opinion. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I truly believe that nobody plays their best in tournament. Nobody, no matter how good you are at
Mhm.
pressure, even if it's just at 99% of your game instead of 100. When you are on stage and it's a tournament setting and something's on the line, nobody plays at 100%. Everybody makes mistakes, even if they're little ones. So don't judge yourself too harshly. This was it's different when you're sitting at your computer just looking at it and you're not thinking of anything else and you can pause and you have all the time in the world. Sometimes you're just gonna miss stuff in live play and that's perfectly fine.
Mhm.
But you play pretty well for most of this time here. Nothing like it's pretty much all exactly what should be happening here. No
I don't
combos are
know.
being
I remember
taken.
being really annoyed about columns 3 and 4. Like when I remember in the moment, like
Was
I
this a
don't
little
know.
further
I
back?
think it was just I think it might have been a little further back. I'm trying to remember. I think there was something with that yellow cleared where I was like,
I mean,
never mind, maybe not.
your three
Yeah.
and four were pretty clear for most of this. I liked that pretty much everything that you did here for like a good minute and a half. I thought it was mostly like perfect play. And I also want to point out as well, we can do it while you're playing here, but it's
Mhm.
been a long time since you've received any sort of garbage, and it's been pretty few and far between. And I think a big part of that is while you did miss some combos, you got a lot of them, a lot more than you did in the previous two crowns that you lost. And that's sort of
Mhm.
the effect. Yeah, you're seeing the effect of that where I mean, if you look at Sazzy's board, her board is like really messed up and she's not finding a lot of combo opportunities. She's about to send you a little garbage here. That might be the first garbage you received in like a, a full minute, maybe. And you give a speedrunner a full minute, they're gonna make a lot of progress. So yeah, that's exactly why combos are really important. Because the more pressure you're putting on
Mhm.
your opponent, the less pressure they can put back onto you. So this end game is pretty straightforward. Now there was an end game move I wanted to point out, and it was like 30 seconds
Mhm.
ago, so I'm gonna jump back to it. Let me see here. I think it was um, this blue yellow. I loved this move, and this is how I know you have speedrun experience because like just this blue yellow, like you're attacking this blue virus that's covered vertically, and you're doing it so that this double stack can just be taken, and but you're still making progress. And then the yellow at the bottom of the bottle is going to contribute to this yellow virus in column 6 at the very bottom being taken out. So I was just like, this is a pretty unassuming move, but like this is a amazing end game move because you didn't break this
Hmm.
setup. You attacked a virus horizontally that was going to be kind of a pain to get vertically to be as efficient as possible. These kinds of things do matter in versus, especially in end game. So again, when you say your end game's weak, I think it's a lot less. Oh, I don't know what to do in an end game, and more. I don't
Mhm.
prioritize combos enough or my board health enough during the first 2/3 of the game, and then by the time I get to end game, the end game situation is really bad and difficult. And
Mm.
I think that's more of the issue than you not knowing how to navigate an end game, if anything. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think you have those skills.
Okay.
When you prioritize combos, I think you're gonna find, wow, these games feel a lot easier, and that's just the byproduct of putting pressure on your opponent. Let them deal with the messy board. You don't want to deal with it. Make sure they have more mess than you do.
Mhm.
That's the important thing. But we saw most of this already. Uh, we get the blue horizontally. The yellow probably isn't going to happen um, horizontally, so we go vertical. You were very upset about this blue garbage because you.
Because I was almost
I
done.
think you forgot you're playing versus for a second. You're like, speedrun endgame, and then that happened, and you were
Yeah.
shocked back into reality.
I'm very expressive.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. No, but that's okay. This is not going to phase you for very long. You're going to clear this out pretty quick. You're going to get rid of this. You're going to I think just get blues eventually and just do it
Yeah.
the quote unquote the hard way, but um that's the honest way if anything. But you get there and you clear that out. So yeah, I think like the biggest difference between this game that you won and the last two that we looked at, it's just combos and just prioritizing them more, not missing them as often, not breaking quite as many setups as you were, and it wasn't even like that dramatic of a difference, and it made a huge impact. I mean, Sassie's board doesn't look quite as much of a mess as it did. She did a good job of like cleaning it up, but I mean, if you go back,
Mhm.
I'm sure will see that like she was like dealing with these messy columns and stuff for a long time while you were way ahead, and that's just a matter of prioritizing your combos, and you did it well in this crown, so I think that made a huge difference. So perfect example of why it's important to work on that. All right, so we're going into oh, no spoilers, we're going into the last crown here.
Oh, this game 5.
Yes,
Oh.
this is
This is good. This is good for me.
it's an
This is
emotion,
good for me.
it's going to be a little emotional. This is an emotional game of Dr. Mario for sure, but we'll get through it. This is kind of an interesting opening, and I'm curious what you are thinking on this one.
It kind of makes me think of those that double blue that started one of the last 2 games or so. Like, I'd put the red flat in 3 and 4.
Yeah, I like that.
Um
I like that move for sure. Just going double red and 3 and 4 like that. I would say you have a combo set up with 5 6 if you do get yellow red, so it doesn't
Mhm.
eliminate that possibility at the very least. But another possible move that I saw that I thought was really interesting, and maybe even better than 3 4, would be to just tuck here into 4 5,
Mm.
because if you do get another double red, this will be the fastest way to get a combo. So if you do this
Mhm.
and Sazzy doesn't do this move opening and you get a second double red, which you would need to capitalize on going like this anyway,
Mm.
it becomes the fastest path to a combo and you're guaranteed to first blood if you get a double red. If you don't, it's still connecting vertically. You could maybe get like a blue yellow like this and then a blue red like this, and then you still get a combo horizontally that way because it's open ended. So there's different options. So this, I think, I mean, that's really hard to see. I don't even know that I would see that in a live
Yeah.
game. But when I was looking at it, doing the notes for this, I saw that and I was like, ooh, that's a cheeky opening move. But I think it probably is. I think it might actually be the best one. So I don't think either of you are gonna do that. But let's see if and you get the double red. If you had done it,
Ah.
you'd be getting first blood in 3 pills, and she would have barely have gotten started. She's gonna be like this yellow blue does not give her a combo right away, and you would have been starting off with an advantage right away. So that was a tricky one to find. Like I don't know that how many people would even be looking for stuff like that. I don't think I would even do that in a regular game, but yeah.
Mhm.
Um, it's not always double stack. Sometimes there are horizontal opportunities and T opportunities even in opening boards, especially when you get like little valleys like this, like you have on the right here, where
Mhm.
you can maybe make a T setup, and that's going to be the fastest way to get to a combo. Double stacks are usually the fastest, but not always. And at the end of the day, you just want to get first blood if you can, by any means necessary. So that's little more advanced placement for sure, but um, yeah, just goes to show don't count out the opportunity to get a T as your opening combo or an L or something like that, because
Mhm.
sometimes you get little opportunities like this, and if you do find them and you take them and you get paid off, then you get a big advantage for doing it. But you'll get your 3 double reds anyway, so we'll get a combo.
I don't know
Typical.
what's going on with this opening. I guess I was making combos.
Yeah, no, it was fine. You were doing combos, typical double stacking behavior, I was gonna say. And
Okay.
I was gonna mention, yeah, I like that you set up this red
Mm.
horizontal like this. This was actually good, even though the yellow doesn't match with the blue underneath. That's fine. You were setting up this red horizontal in case you got like more extra blue reds maybe to go like this. Obviously, you would do this first, but after that, then you can maybe make another combo out of it, going blue red, and that would be good. But then this yellow blue, I definitely should have just been flipped the other way because now you've blocked it
Yeah.
off, and you're kind of causing problems for yourself by doing this move. I think you're just
Mhm.
I think you realize that because now this double yellow is just going to clear it, and you're like, oh god, I just blocked this off. At least it matches vertically. That's okay. But these reds now are just kind of ugly looking on the board. Maybe you can get
Yeah.
them after these blue reds go away, but you're just gonna have to make the best of it now. I have a blue tea opportunity, and you see it, so that's great. And you, the last minute,
I had
you
to hold my breath there. Yeah.
yeah, but you also put the double red in the right spot. Like obviously it was a one row adjustment, and but you saw it, and even if this doesn't make the combo and you just take the T right away, at least you're matching red to red, so it's never that bad, and you got the T, which is the most important thing. And from there here, we're just gonna do even more double stacks, get some stun lock action. Love that. I don't think there's really much to say in the next little bit because you're just kind of making the intuitive moves and trying to do double stacks. You get another one, so it's good. Keeping up the combo rate. We'd love to see it. Now, I just want to go back to this moment here. We kind of already touched on this earlier, but in this moment, like when you look at this board, it's not necessarily this specific move with this red blue I'm talking about, but just in a general, like long term sort of thought. Like at this moment, what is the part of the board that you're most focused on clearing or addressing?
I feel like what it should be like with this red blue, I feel like column 6 might be a better thing to address.
Yeah, for this
Um
specific move, sure, but we're, don't worry about with this red blue pill in particular. Pretend you could have any pill you wanted. Even what is like
uh
the part of the board you'd like to try to build out and clear out? Are there specific columns you feel like you could be focusing on? Is more sort of what I'm getting at.
yeah, I guess just columns 2 and 6
Yep.
are kind of what are speaking to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's exactly right. So we talked about this, and I mentioned it already, where when you have these weird pieces of garbage on top of groups like that, especially when it's still this low on the board and you're not in the top four yet. It's really important to address them. It's going to take three blues or three reds for each of these respectively to do it. So addressing it as soon as possible is really important. I think 6-7 is probably, like you said, is probably the best move for this red blue to put it right here. And because
Mhm.
not only is it a combo setup, but also we just need to get rid of this red. It's very annoying, and there's no other way to do it and also make a combo without doing some kind of crazy stuff. So yeah, I think this red blue should go
Mm.
here. I think the next yellow blue definitely should be like that. And we're just trying to make combos and address these columns that have these awkward colors on them. It would be very easy to just ignore this, but these are definitely like, especially in the early game when you're trying to survive. When you see these little these pieces of garbage, they should be sticking out like sore thumbs, and you should be thinking,
Mhm.
how am I going to get rid of these, and can I make a combo at the same time, ideally? And if so, then that should be the top priority in like an early game situation. And I think you do that here, although actually you just take the clear
Not
here.
that one, yeah.
So this kind of just exacerbates the problem. Hopefully this double red goes on top of column 6 just to try to clear it out, and you do. I'd like the blue to fall in column 6, but that's okay. And you get a combo as well. But now column 2 is not really being addressed, and you had several double blues to do it. And I would have loved to
Oh,
see
if
the
I
double blue
had
here.
addressed it.
If you
Oh,
see,
knowing what's gonna happen, if I had prioritized that, it would have been a much different game.
I think so, because if we keep going, you're just kind of ignoring it. You do finally put a double blue here, and now you're continuing. But then,
And then
the
knife
yellow
through the
falls.
heart.
Yes, and if you had, and you definitely had the opportunity to clear it sooner.
Ample
So
opportunity.
exactly. So obviously you could see this and go, "Oh, that's so unlucky." But honestly, you should be trying to
There were ways.
Yeah, there were ways if you had thought about it ahead of time to avoid this entirely. And so that's why flatness is so important, because the tie
Mhm.
when you have these jagged spires happening, any kind of combo or any kind of garbage, excuse me, that blocks that is just so damaging. Because this is going to be really difficult to deal with now. You can make horizontals and you could even maybe make some combos out of it, but it's going to be very difficult, first of all, to do at all. And it's just going to take a long time to deal with, where you could have efficiently dealt with it, gotten a combo, and it would have only taken you 2 pills to do it. You would have saved a lot of time that way. So you even said it yourself, columns 2 and 6 are what I need to be focusing on. So I know you know that. But
Yeah.
it's just a matter of focusing in the moment and really being
Mhm.
like, I have to use every pill possible to deal with this because you only have so much time before the garbage comes down. And it might not fall in that column, but you can't. It's not a chance worth taking. You got to deal with it before
Mhm.
stuff like this happens. So yeah, it's this is the sort of thing I see all the time when I see like lower medium level players playing. They don't address stuff like this early enough, and then a piece of garbage falls, and then they don't know how to address that, and then it just snowballs from
Mhm.
there, and it spirals into a really messy board, and that's usually how top outs happen in games. So, like I said, if you combo a lot, you're gonna do this to your opponent way more often, and that's how
Mhm.
you're just gonna steal crowns from people. I would say it's not really stealing, like you're earning it, but that's how
Yeah.
you just get these easy top out games and that you've probably seen. But yeah, now this is an issue that you have to figure out how to deal with. So we're gonna see what transpires from here. Um, I wish that this yeah, you're gonna have to start doing horizontals here now. That is gonna be definitely the way to deal with this. Like I said, it's gonna be slow and painful, and it'll be hard to make combos, but that's really the only option you have here. Whether that's
Mhm.
getting reds this way or even just chopping out these yellows as you can, which is a lot slower, but maybe the only option. Because even once you clear this red out, it's just going to fall down, and you're going to have to do it anyway. So,
Yeah.
um, but because you did this clear that we had here, where you did this red yellow, this red blue, now you don't even have a platform to do that. So that is just kind of going to exacerbate this problem a little further. At the very least, now you can get the red horizontal, I guess. But um, it's I honestly, in cases like this, it might even be better to maybe see if you can do like a yellow cross or something. Like maybe if a yellow red comes, you can do this. It's I mean, we'd rather not be in this situation to begin with. But if you have to bail yourself out of something like this, um, starting right away is the best way to do it.
Can
So
you explain a little more the vision here? Because I know, like, what I end up going for is the red horizontal. And that's when I look at this board, my first thought is still, okay, I'm going to horizontal that red and then go from there.
yeah,
So,
so you could
like,
horizontal the red. You don't have to, but I mean, you can horizontal the red and the yellows. But ultimately, the goal is to essentially, as slow as it is, chop out pieces of this column one horizontal at a time, which will cause you to
mhm,
every time you do, you're going to gain a row at the top, and eventually, if you clear it, if you chop it down enough rows, maybe if you don't get any more garbage at the top, you will be able to start putting yellow pieces up at the top here, and then you
mm,
can get this vertically again. But the way it stands now, obviously, it's not
okay.
possible to do that. Even if you could get the pills over, there's not enough space to go vertical. So you're going to make horizontals to chop the column down, and then you're gonna ideally with combos, if you can do like some sandwich combos in the process, that's ideal. But once you
Mhm,
start getting some rows back at the top, assuming you don't get blocked again, you can try to do that, and that's really
okay.
difficult and it's not ideal. But now that you're here, that's kind of what you have to do, and you don't really have a choice
Yeah.
because if you don't do that, you're gonna just get garbage up to the top. You're gonna lose your entire column, and it's gonna be a repeat of that second crown where you were just at the bottom of your board with two full columns or three full columns on your edges for like 3 minutes straight, and you're never gonna
Mhm,
address it. So the best time to address it is now, and that's really the only way you can do it now. So
okay.
again, ideally, we would have never let this happen, but now that you're here, if
Yeah.
you find yourself in that situation, that's how you kind of have to do it. If there's really not a lot of other ways, sometimes, like let's say that this blue down here was a yellow. If you see something like this, then it's easy.
Yeah.
Now you have one horizontal, you're going to combo all of this down, and that's great. But if it's not, that's then you should always look for that first. If you don't have that option, like in this case, then you just kind of have to chop it out one horizontal at a time until you get some vertical space
Mhm.
and hope that you don't get blocked off. And obviously, if you can make combos on the right to keep your combo rate up at the same time, you should do that too because we're still trying to keep our combo rate. The less you combo, the more Sazzy is going to be able to combo you back. But um, in terms of saving the left side, that's the game plan to do that is to just take a yellow here, the whole thing falls down one, then take another yellow out, the whole thing falls down one, and then if you do that enough times, maybe this yellow can be at the top can be cleared vertically off, and then we can get back
Okay.
to our regular game plan. But that really does suck to do, and you want to not have to do that. But that's sort of like the shitty plan that you have to do now, unfortunately. But I don't think that's well, actually, I think you actually do that sort of, and you're gonna make a combo out of it here. So this is kind of actually exactly what you need to do. You took a row, you gained a row at the top, and honestly, if you were good enough at blinking, you could even try to take this vertically right now. You have a yellow blue coming.
Ooh.
I know that's scary, and honestly, if you're not comfortable with it, I wouldn't recommend it because if you mess it up, you will probably lose the game.
Yeah.
But but if you're comfortable with it, you could go for it, and if you are able to, then that's a huge help because it avoids that entire painful process I was describing before of going chopping it down one row at a time, because the less rows you
Mhm.
have to chop down, the closer to the top you can get this vertically, the better off, like the better it'll be, the less painful it will be. But obviously you have to be comfortable in doing that. So I don't think you're going to go for it based on some of the earlier plays that we saw, but yeah, that's how we need to get out of this. There's something else here I thought I had to mention. No, not yet. Actually, this is pretty good. Let me just go back. Sorry about that. I just kind of
Mhm.
phased out for a second.
No worries.
Yeah, this is all pretty much pretty standard. You're going to try to get to the right. We get some yellow garbage at the top here, and we're not really trying to do the horizontal. And you're going to make a big gap in the center. You're going to make progress, and that'll be great. But at the end of the day, this right side. Now, one thing you might do here, this is great. You did a blue horizontal here, and this actually might be even better because now that you've dug down, this if you get this blue horizontal, it's not going to drop because you have the blues on the side, but you will potentially be able to get some yellows here, and you're going to save your column. So that I think now
Yeah,
that we're here, that's got to be the way to go.
I remember while I was playing the thoughts being, yeah, take the blue down. But I did forget that they weren't gonna drop. And I think once I clear the blue horizontal, you'll feel like I'm hesitant where I'm like, I expected it to drop and it didn't, and I go, oh, the problem's not done yet.
Fair enough. But I mean, the nice thing is once this blue is gone, if you get a blue yellow and you place it like that, you're gonna get a triple actually if you do that because of the garbage on top now. So you'll be one away from a triple once you get this blue out, and you'll save your entire column. So that is absolutely your top priority in this moment. Like with any blue
I
yellow
don't think
kills you should
I
get.
triple it, but
Well, even if you don't triple it, it's okay. But you
because
have to.
I put that blue like that and now it's closed off. Like,
Yeah. Let me see.
yeah.
Oh, because you didn't have. Yeah, I think so. With this red yellow that you put, you're trying to make a stack. I guess you're trying to deal with this. Uh, I would have put it. Not there. Sorry.
Yeah.
I would have used it to make a platform, knowing the double blues coming, and now,
Mhm.
oh, and now, now we can clear it out. And maybe these reds will block you from getting the triple, but at least you can slip in a yellow piece here and under clear it, and at least get the column down. Now you can work vertically on the left side again, and that's better than
Mhm.
the situation you're in. That's at least something. So, uh,
Yeah.
fortunately, we do it like this, which isn't that bad. Really, we only lost one blue piece. It's still doable. We're getting some more garbage. This is getting very intense. You really just want to get the blue in that spot. You're gonna do it with a combo, and that's great. You're gonna get a triple out of it. I would like to be clearing this yellow out so we can address this column right away. Obviously that's not happening, but that's okay. We're going to do this. And now at this point, this blue yellow, it's got to go here. It's got to go in this spot. We got to
Yeah.
deal with this right now. I don't think you're just looking for combos,
Ah!
which is which is which is also good. But we just another blue yellow we didn't get. I think this one finally. Nope, we're still clearing things out.
No!
Like yeah. So this is a
I'm not
this
even comboing!
and we're not exactly. There's not even any combos happening. Your setup's being built. So this was a huge thing in this game. I was like, oh, if we could have just taken this out, and then another blue yellow could have
Yeah.
taken this as a double. Oh, like
Mhm.
this would have been such a different game, especially because Sazzy's so clear. You really need this board health back.
Yeah.
If we're not at least getting mad combos on the right, then there's no like this has to be the priority for sure. Column 2 needs to be
Mhm.
a big. I think this was a big part. I think you would have caught up a lot faster. It might not have been so close if you had addressed this sooner. But you know, hindsight's 2020. But I think that was definitely
Indeed.
one of the points to take away here.
Yeah.
And our combo opportunity gets blocked by garbage. We hate that. Do the best that we can. Just make some double stacks. That's perfect. This red blue does not have a great spot. Although you did knock down column 2, I have to say. I did. I don't know why I missed that, but you finally did put it in here.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
so we both kind of missed that, and that's at least we got there. That's the important thing, and it didn't combo, but that's okay because we knocked down column 2. Now we have a yellow blue situation. It gets this situation gets blocked. If you ever get a yellow blue again, that would be great. But you just do this and you get this double stack instead. So at least we get a double out of it. That's fine.
Why didn't I?
Get
Oh, I guess I was doing that. Okay.
why didn't you? What were you? Oh, you
I
wanted
was
to
just
take the
wondering why I
combo
didn't.
over there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's mostly
Why not?
fine for a couple reasons. The first one is you're about to get a different double setup involving that red anyway. And the other
Mhm.
reason is because this double red is actually an awesome move. The fact that you did this is like a top player move to me that you put this
Mm.
double red here. So this is like one of the most underappreciated utilities of a double piece is to make these horizontals that maybe are missing a platform on one of the spaces. So you can kind of bridge gaps
Mhm.
to make horizontals like this. This doesn't even combo. I mean, it's going to combo with the red blue, but it doesn't even combo in column 8, but it's going to make it, it's going to help you bring it down. And it just goes so far to help you out. I don't think most people see that sort of thing except for like the very best people who know how to prioritize that kind of thing. So the fact that you did that, I was like,
Mhm.
oh, that is like it's one of those moves that no a commentator watching this is never going to point that out. I don't think for the most part, but I noticed it and I noticed and I thought that was a very important move to make. So like top player move, very well done.
Writing that one down.
And now you're correctly clearing that off, making a double stack. And now look at that. That red horizontal, look how your column 8 is empty now. You were
Wow.
stacked to the top of the screen. And that was all because of that double red move that you found. And now your board is in such better shape. You're able to make a double stack combo with that extra space. You can maybe make put some yellow reds there going forward. And yeah, like the board just looks so much better than it did. So that just goes to show how awesome that move was. And now we're just stun locking, which is good. I really wanted to see the L here, which you had the
Oh,
setup
yeah.
for. I'm sure you just missed it, but again, you could have
Yeah.
if you had gotten that L, you were stun locking Sazzy. You could have kept that going. In fact, in this case, I think it would have caused a quad. But if you had delayed it, if you had thought seen it and thought to delay it, you could have actually gotten another stun lock on top of that. On top of this blue yellow that's following on our screen right now. And she would have been stun locked for so much longer. But even just a quad would have been nice. And you're sending even more combos, and you're actually making quite a comeback. If you remember how messy things looked
Yeah.
before, and it really comes down to finding that board health situation that you found with that double red, and also just like keeping up with your combos. You are doing a really good job of that, even if you missed that L that I pointed out. Overall, you're
Mhm.
doing very good in this game as well.
Oh my god, I can just feel I was so stressed. I was so stressed.
I believe it. I mean, it's game 5 of a tournament. It's high stakes. It's, do or die. It's very stressful. So,
I
that's
just
perfectly
know,
normal.
like, my upcoming moves. I mean,
Well,
I think I I feel like I actually play pretty well, but there are some moves where I'm like, if I had just played it like this, if I had just played it like this, and I'm trying to remember the rest of the game, all the good things we pointed out to work on, but
yeah. Well, I
it's
mean,
hard not to focus on
for
if I
sure.
just did this.
Of course, yeah. And I mean, and to be fair, when a game is that as close as this one ended up being, that's always going to be the case. There's always going to have been, if you look back over all that, the entire game, a whole bunch of little spots that would have, any one of them would have changed things. It's just the nature of a
Mhm.
close game like that. So I wouldn't beat yourself up too much about that. But it's important to recognize those little things, and you don't have to,
Yeah.
if you do, you don't have to fix all of them. You just have to fix a couple of them, and that will win you games like this that you might have otherwise lost. So uh,
Mhm.
it's worth it. And honestly, if you look at this, like, you're actually, she has 3 less viruses than you, but I think you're way ahead. This red blue, I mean, it's kind of an umbrella in column 6, but it really messes up her right side. Like, you're in a pretty good spot here. And if you think back to, a couple minutes ago, that was not the case. So yeah, you, like, even though you took much longer than you needed to deal with that column 2 situation that we talked about, you did eventually get it back, and then that double red horizontal you found to bring down your right side has really brought you back into this game. So we're gonna continue from here to see what else
Okay.
maybe happened here. So the yellow garbage is actually really nice. So we're gonna make a combo here and clear things up. Uh, Yeah, this is another one of those situations. You're seeing it too. See, it's good. It's good that you're seeing it now. It's good that you're seeing it,
Ah!
but that's a good thing, because you're gonna see it when you actually play games in the future now. But of course, we go to clear this off. We're breaking a setup, and there's a blue red right on the
Why?
next box, ready to give us some extra garbage. Which, even in the end
The
game,
next box is definitely out the window at this point,
right?
but
But I was gonna say, even if you're not seeing it in the next box and going, "Oh, I'm about to get this combo," it's still just generally not a good idea to break setups like that.
yeah,
That way,
yeah.
you don't have to worry too much about the next box in this case. But, like, yeah.
I'm not sure why I even play it flat. Like, even if I was I don't know. I'm not sure why I do that,
Well, it does set up.
but
I mean, now any blue will get you this combo. But yes, if you had played it straight, then this blue red would have cleared the combo perfectly. Instead, I think you're just gonna leave. Like, oh no, you just go over here. Maybe because you didn't want to block the yellow in the corner. So that's not ideal. Now we're really stalling this combo out. But yeah, it's good that you're seeing it. You're gonna take this combo now, so at least you're getting that. Things are looking. I don't want to be like, wow, things are looking really good here, because we do know how it ends. But uh,
well, like,
it does look
Cassie has
good.
that giant combo.
It is a giant situation, but her board is also very messy. And this endgame, just to be clear, like, she's about to get a combo here, but all this is about to fall down. And actually, it's not going to be that bad. But this isn't like an amazing situation for her either. I just wanted to point out that you did also, again, it's just another combo opportunity that we're missing here. Which I know, I
Mhm.
think you were more looking to get these yellows, and you were kind of in a speedrun mindset because you think you're in endgame here,
Yeah.
which you are. But in versus endgame, you still want to get as many combos as you possibly can, especially because, like, compared to at the beginning of the game, combos are very damaging because you're so close to the top of the board that garbage can create huge problems. But at the end
Mhm.
game, that doesn't mean that combos are useless because there's less things to block. They're still useful because, since you're lower on the board, you get so much more drop time out of your combos. And when you're in an end game race, just freezing somebody for, like, from placing their pills for like 3 full seconds is so important. It's such a huge advantage
Mhm.
to do that, especially if you're, like, doing it multiple times. So to miss combos even in endgame is a big deal. Like, even if you hadn't gotten this red blue, this blue yellow opportunity would have also been good. You could have gone blue yellow like this. The yellow drops down for a combo here. you had a lot of combo opportunities, and sadly, I don't think you get any of them. And I think that also is something that really made a
Uh,
difference in this case, because even just an extra couple of seconds, and oh yeah, that's not good
no, and
because
then
you're
this
because
this
this got
part.
blocked off.
Oh.
Yeah, and if she had been frozen by a combo, maybe she would not have made or completed her combo in time to block you, and you would have got that virus. So that's what I mean when I'm saying that giving somebody drop time in endgame is so important, and so combos are still very good. They can and especially when it's close like this, it can make or break the entire crown. So yeah, combos are not
Yeah,
just good for garbage and blocking your opponent, but the drop time that it gives them and stun locking them is so valuable. It's incredibly valuable in endgame situations. So you cannot sleep on combos at any point. You don't get to endgame and go, okay, I get to speedrun now. It's not how versus works. You have to be comboing even to the very last virus if you
mhm.
have to, unless you're just so far ahead it doesn't matter. But it's best to get into the habit of always comboing even in endgame situations, which is definitely different from speedrunning, but that's just an important adjustment to make for sure. So this red unfortunately blocks you. You don't attempt to
Ah,
go for the combo.
ah!
You're just blocking it further, which is not good.
I know! I
You're
didn't
just so
expect the double yellow!
I
I'm
know, and
so
you're just very tunnel visioned on exposing this vertically. I think you just give up on the idea of ever getting this unblocked, and you're like,
I think
whatever.
I've just, like, given up. Once that red garbage fell there, I was like, it's over." When it wasn't over.
Yeah, and this red blue goes here, even though the yellow blue's coming, and that would have been better in that spot. Uh, although
Yeah, no, then yeah,
I
here I'm
think
like, "Whatever, this is
yeah,
not happening."
I think the pressure just got to you here because now there's just like a lot of mistakes
Yeah.
happening. These blue yellows could have made a combo, and who knows? Unlikely, but if that well, she has a red pill out now, so it doesn't matter. But I mean, sometimes you could just get one more piece of garbage on this red stack, and that could be all you need to win. But she's gonna bring it home, and yeah, that's just gonna be the end of it. And that's I know that look. I know that look. It's a
It was not a happy look.
no, it's a heartbreaking look. And I can tell that hurts, but it's really up to you if that's going to hold you back or if
There's
it's going to motivate you for next time. So
no, I'm motivated. I
I
feel
thought
like
so.
hold on, let me chill, let me breathe, let me no, I'm definitely feeling motivated. I think I mean, I'd say I have two important takeaways that like this helped a lot, first of all. I feel like this was really good, so thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Um, I'd say my two like the basic one, which I feel like was the most obvious one for me to figure out was really yeah, combo throwing away the setups, and stuff like that. And then the one I didn't really think about too much, but with the prioritization and the spires, like
Board
taking
flatness.
care of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, I have like a little summary of things that just to recap and so that give you sort of like something digestible to carry forward when you're playing and trying to improve here. So the biggest thing, like I said, the most important thing is just improving your combo rate and not missing out on those opportunities. I think I kind of drilled that into you over the past couple hours of just constantly showing you places where that happened, especially at the end of this crown and at different points in the other ones where you lost. And like I said, four pillars of verses. Pillar number one is combos, especially where you are now. Getting your combo rate up is the biggest thing that determines the outcome of your games. If I could go
Mhm.
to back to every tournament game you've ever played and I could see the stats of like combos per minute of each player in every game, I guarantee you the winner of each crown is whoever has the higher combo rate because at that level that's just how it goes. Uh, and
Mhm.
improving and we saw countless examples here of how even just improving your combo rate a little bit just pressures your opponent so much more and takes the pressure off of you so much more. So
Mhm.
absolutely, if you combo hard enough, you will put people in situations that they get out of. If you get really good at it, you're just gonna find that you're topping people out. And like you said, you'd much prefer to just top people out than finish the board. That would be great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's so we see that a lot when there's a big division in skill most of the time between the two players playing, and the biggest reason for that is
Mhm.
because the better player knows how to combo faster, and doing and making more combos than the other player, and usually the lower skilled player just does not know how to recover from that, and they just lose. So combo rate, combo, combo, combo. Do not miss opportunities. Do not break your setups unless you absolutely have
Don't break
to.
my
Don't break your
setups.
setups. Do not do it. Don't do
Don't.
it. The other thing that you can work on is, like you said, the spires and keeping your board flat. Spires are the biggest threats to the board health that you could possibly see. And board health is important because the better your board health, the better your combo rate. Another advantage of having a flat board that I didn't really talk about is that you need to have platforms to make horizontals. And when you have a flat board, you tend to have all the platforms you need to make horizontals, which helps you make more combos. So it's all tied together,
Mhm.
board health and comboing. You want to, keep the board flat because it's just easier to navigate, and because it will help you keep the combo rate up, which, like we said, is the most important thing. So whenever if you can preemptively see spires before they get blocked by garbage and make a point to clear them, even if you can't combo it, in some cases it's still important to do that. Obviously, like we said, combo as much as you can, but um,
Mhm.
if you see situations like that column 2 that we saw in this last crown, and you know that you recognize that, just imagining a piece of garbage there sounds like a nightmare, just clear it away. If especially like at the top of
Mhm.
the board in the early game, it's so important, and you will avoid situations like the one that you were in. And if you had done that in this game, you might have won pretty easily, actually, if you had just addressed that early and continued your comboing. Then Sassy might have been in a lot of trouble, and you might have been able to take this pretty handily. So, yeah, keeping the board flat. Board flatness is an important concept, underrated concept. Uh, Knock down your spires, save your columns. It's important. And the last
Mhm.
thing to note that you can work on, although like I already did mention it, and I did say that it is much more in your future, but it is still something that you'll eventually have to think about, is to improve the pace of your play. I wouldn't say that
Mhm.
that's a big factor here, but once both players are equally good at seeing combo opportunities and finding them all, then the next level that separates them is how fast you can do it. So combo rate is not just about how many combos you can make; it's also how fast you can do it. I don't know if you watched the finals when you were in Hartford between Perul and Pangolin. Did you see their game?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
I'm sure you've seen one of their games at some point, and one thing you've probably noticed is that they play really fast. They're moving the pills fast, they're making decisions fast, and they're
Mhm.
executing them fast. And that's what puts them in the top tier of players, is that they are just faster than you. And if they're making a combo faster than you can make it, then the garbage they send might block the combo opportunity you were going for before you could do it. How many times have you been one pill away from a combo and then garbage blocks it? Sometimes pace
Mhm.
of play is what stops that from happening and lets you get to your combo before it gets blocked. So it's definitely one of those things that's just a matter of practice and repetition, and the more you play, the faster you'll get. So I would think of this as more of a long-term goal for you. But
Mhm.
if you have any aspiration of getting to that level of like the Perulas and the Pangolins of the world, that is eventually something that you're going to have to tackle. So I don't think there's any real issue with your pace at your level right now. But once you start to get more, you deal with the combos and the board health, and you get that down, then the next step after that for you will definitely be to figure out how to pick up the pace and just practicing until you can get to that point. And that's
Alright.
pretty much everything I had for you. So do you have any other questions about anything that we talked about or discussed or anything like that?
No, not at the moment. I actually kinda have to run. I'm selling something on Facebook Marketplace, and they're here 20 minutes early, so
Oh,
I have to go handle that.
no problem. In that case, I will let you go. But thank you for coming on, and I know this can be
Yeah.
long, so thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. And thanks everyone in chat and everybody who's watching. And until next time, you guys be safe, stay warm, and don't forget to follow your doctor's orders. And we'll see you next time. Take care.